We are live. Mega, mega, mega love shout out to everyone. Magandang umaga, tanghali, gabi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Oh, wait, I forgot something. My rings. Hola, hola, hola to everyone. Ayan, I can't. Yes, there you are. My rings are good for the stream. So everyone, mega mega love shout out another day for a chikahan one-on-one means chit chat one-on-one for tonight. And this is a very special one because I've been courting this person for a long, long, long time, ever since I know him and ever since he joined me in the panel. I always love how he talks, very calm, very wise for me, okay, guys. So I want to share them, and he actually accepted this one. It's just going to be a short one, but we'll definitely talk about men's mental health, and I believe he is the one that could talk about this more in depth. And even if it's a short time, we're gonna go deep with one and only ulala. I'm so scared to switch because it's on StreamYard. It's very, very hard for me. Hold on. Let me switch this one. Please welcome the one and only everyday part of life.
Hey, ICEE, baby, here you go, and everyone in the chat. I tell you what, wise, I don't know what he. I tell you what, Shiner, I don't know. That was a big introduction, but we'll do our best. We'll do our best. Anyway, my gosh, I'm a little bit close to the screen there, but yeah, there we go. Holy moly.
Oh my God, what's happened to this one? Okay, hold on, guys. Let me just put this in a better mode. Oh, yeah, this is better. Okay, so everyone, yes, they are here for you. I can see a lot of awesome and wonderful people to support us for tonight's topic. And let me read them. Ayan, E.T., of course, Abiriko, 22, love, 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 love. Ryan is also here. Why can't it do, what does it does that? Now I can't see the whole thing. Ayan, let's see if I can switch this one. And to ET, ayan, everyday part of yes. But and of course to keeping up with Sean and Irene is also here. Ayan, Henry is also here. PG, ayan, Pinoy Galaan is here. Tipidje Blaze, ayan, and Henry Wasp is here as well. And yes, yo, Digital Fanboy, of course. Timmy is here, thumbs up na. And Mikey, Admin Wasp, and Fanboy, well-rounded Joe is also here. So everybody, ayan. I hope, guys, this is going to be a very, very wonderful topic for me. So it's going to be short, but if I don't see you or if I didn't read your chat, please do chat away because I want to see them after this. And we're going to have a follow up live stream so I can talk to you guys and I can say my piece. Diba? But yes, welcome. You've been in my panel, but you've never really be in my hot seat. So Mikey, ayan. I call him Mikey, guys. And please do type guest on the chat so you can connect with him. Ay, mali kayo. So my first question, and it's always been a staple of ICEE Fit, how can we introduce who is everyday part of life to the new viewers and of course to the people that already know you? How would you introduce yourself again?
Well, look, I'm just someone who's out there showing places that I go to, a few cooking things that sometimes I do that I haven't done for a while, but mostly it's about places that I go to and travel to, whether that be overseas, Philippines, Thailand, or Melbourne, a little bit of nature type stuff like that. I suppose I like to share a few of those things with people out there in case they're, I don't know, maybe wanting to know places to go. If they're searching, I mean, that's what I did when I, went abroad overseas. I searched for places to go and have a look and see what was good. So I think if I can do a little bit of that, and people can sort of watch the videos and go, that's a place that I wouldn't mind going, because some of these places people may never, fine when they're looking. So I think that's the beauty of some, places that show a little bit of travel like that. But that's just a little bit of the channel. I'm just me. I'm easygoing. Like most Aussies are, we're easygoing, and nothing much phases us. She'll be right. She'll be right. That's what we always say. So, I mean, that's a little bit about me. Just something a little bit different. Just doing a little bit of the footy for the lives. I haven't been doing many lives of just me behind the camera lately. So maybe maybe in a few weeks we'll get back onto that. But yeah, maybe that type of stuff. Enjoy a couple of the poker streams I do. Of course, Joe, well-rounded, comes in there and gives me support, tells me, yeah, fold, raise, all that type of stuff. So I've got to thank Joe. But that's all good, I mean, that's a little bit about it, but just easy going. Try to show a few places around where I go, because there's a lot of good places out there to go. A few hidden gems worth having a look at that people mightn't know. That's probably about it, I think. How's that sound, ICEE? Pretty good. Does that sound all right?
Yeah, it's very, 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 very good, of course. Yeah, let's do this because then I can see your face.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
And also we're on
I'm
Twitch.
ghosting. Is that better?
Yes, it's a bit, and we're on Twitch, guys. So everybody, but there it is. Joe is here. I'm a little over 22,300 steps, and it is my 61st birthday today. Oh my God, guys, on the chat, please do greet Joe. Very, very happy birthday. And Joe, if you can stay a little bit after the stream, I want to sing you a happy birthday. And of course, the twerking. I want to give you that one. For now, my eyes is on Mikey. But thank you. I won't forget that. Well-rounded. Yes. And guys, please do type Joe well-rounded and you can connect with him as well. And Wishiko, ayan, Sisikoy, hola, Sisikoy, welcome. And if you have any questions when we go into this topic, please do. And also share your stories, but always protect your privacy because we don't know who is watching. Ayan. And happy birthday, Mojo. Best wishes all around. So I'm going to go straight at it, Mikey. So you've always been, very, for me at least, you're, how do you call that? Like finesse. I don't know how the equivalent for a guy when you say well put, basically. Is it something that you accommodate throughout the years? And I'm pretty sure I've asked this before, but things have changed, obviously, and I want to know the changes around you. But can you at least share with us how's your life journey influenced who you are right now as we are seeing you in camera?
I think the life's journey, I don't think it's changed me too much at all. I think I've always been a little bit just like this. I'm one that's, believe it or not, a little bit more quieter, and don't, I like to just sit back and listen. Normally, I don't really talk much. Believe it or not, I don't talk much. I sit back and, I just enjoy listening, to what other people say. Sort of take that type of stuff in. But I think it's the way you're brought up. I think my parents are pretty good, and they looked, my parents looked after kids in foster care. So, so that we were surrounded by like an extended larger family through taking care of, vulnerable kids of the state, whatnot. So trying to bring them in, give them a home, and you can see what, well, the vulnerable, the unfortunate can sort of go through to what you have. So you got to be, I think, being humble in life, I think that is most essential, no matter what field you're in or what type of person you are. I don't think any person's better than someone else. I don't think anyone's, well, there you go. I don't think anyone's really better than anyone else. Some people might say that because of the jobs they got, etc., like that, but it takes everyone for the world to work and every job, to keep the world ticking over and the day ticking over. Not everyone can be rocket scientists or janitors. Both jobs are equal. So, but I think I don't know. I think I'm just throughout my journey in life, I think I've stayed pretty much the same, and I think this is who you are. Maybe I was a little bit cheeky when I was young. I don't know. My grandfather always used to tell me I kicked him in the shin when I was young, but I can't remember that. I must have been about 3 or something. I don't know. But I think for me, I think being courtesy, and kind and like that to people, I think that's always, in the foreground, whatnot. I think, if you got nothing nice to say about anyone, then you really shouldn't say it. And I think, that whether that's in, day-to-day life that surrounds you, or on social media, I think, you don't see that type of talk around you in real life, because definitely you'll find a lot of cowards that say a lot of garbage on social media, and that's why it always comes out like that. These type of people wouldn't say it around in real life. So you just got to stay humble, and you got to be kind to people. And I think that's a better feeling. So, and I've always liked to surround myself with good people. Good, honest people that they're a little bit the same, nice and humble, and, don't take life too seriously, just there to enjoy it, and, try to encourage others, and put a little bit of brightness into other people's lives. So I think I think I've been the same all the way through life. So what you see now is probably what you saw many, 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 many years ago when I was a young fella.
Yes. There's so many that I just want to explore with you in that simple, things that you've said. So for one, I want to say, if you don't have nice thing to say, don't say anything. This is one of the things that I find very, very kind of in a way, I grew up in a environment where men talk less, they do more. And when they talk, there's really value in it. Whether it's kind of like a character or anything else, but when they talk, they would talk in specific time and appropriate time. But obviously, we're on internet era. And as you've said, people just say things. So when it comes to men's mental health, and I want to ask you, and of course the guys in the chat, and of Yadzi, the newcomers in the chat, of course, too. Henry, thank you for being a member, guys. For the members, for the super chat, I'm listing it down. I'm gonna have something for you later as well. So don't go anywhere. We're gonna continue this with moi. And Mark AU Australia as well. Aussie, there's a lot of Aussie. Adi is also here. Thank you for everyone supporting us tonight. May Hukuketa is also here as well. So, do you think how much the internet for you as a man, and also in your mental state, in your analysis of the world in the internet era, how much of the internet actually do matter and factor into men's mental health?
Look, I think it depends on how seriously you take it, how personally you take it. If you see social media, or the internet as just your world, then it's going to affect you a lot more. But if you see that as just a place to go, because the one thing you got to understand, when you go to social media, you're going to get, it's just known. It doesn't matter whether it's YT, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, you're going to get the good with the bad, and the bad's always going to come. And I think that's the thing. You've got to separate. Because, as I said, you can separate yourself easy in the real world, real life world, as I say, around us, sort of thing. We don't associate with people like that. We associate with the people we want to, but in social media, that type of stuff, sometimes you don't have much of a say unless it's your own channel. And especially for my channel. Like all trolls and that, they know they're not welcome there. I block them as soon as they come in. I block them. I get them out of the channel, because I think having trolls in my channel is a detriment. I think that's I think that's a big minus for the channel, and not just for the channel, but for the chat, for the people who come in. I think if I have those type of people in my channel, in my lives, I think that is just the biggest disrespect to the other people in the chat that come along to the lives and see me. But yeah, you've really got to understand that it's two separate worlds. You can make great friends out of YT. As you know, me and Tino are great friends. And like us and a few others there, we're all good friends. But we've got to understand this is social media, and you've got to expect that. So you've got to have a little bit of a thick skin when you're aboard, social media, and especially when you've got a channel. When you haven't got a channel, it probably doesn't really matter, because there's nothing that you have to worry about or look after. But when you've got a channel, you've definitely got to look after your channel, because it's your channel. It's what everything that you've worked for, and you definitely 100% have to look after the people that come. The good people in your chat, etc. like that. You can even get subscribers that are bad, and they're not worth having as subscribers. You just gotta, I think, for any channel that want to survive and succeed and grow, you have to have the good people in there. As I said before, you have a look at all these big channels. That it's a zero tolerance on trolls or people disrespecting other people. That's why I only ever have people in my channel I look after. I try to have the good people in there. That what I mean by good people is people that are respectful to other people, that don't put other people down. But yeah, it's a different world, our real life, to social media, and that's what you got to try and understand. But yeah, that's what. Did I answer that? Okay, I don't know.
Oh my God. It's like, whenever you say some things, it's just like I really have to consume everything. Because there's one thing that I also noticed about my own journey is that, I come here knowing that there's going to be things that will be unexpected, even for me, as much as mentally I'm prepared for it, because it's a new whole world, and I'm very realistic with things that I go through. And manager is definitely here. O, diba? Tinay! Hola, hola, Tinay. And let's see. Keeping up with Sean. We need 6 more likes to balance it out. Ooh la la. We need 6 more likes. We do have. Ayan. Yes, guys, please do. It'll be helpful for us both. Ayan. And guys, please do not forget, check him out. He's almost live every day. You can hang out in there and talk while he plays. So make sure to check out. It's pinned on the chat. Do not forget. Okay. So these are the things. But when it comes to men's mental health, because it's becoming a mainstream, right? It's actually, for me, it's almost like, hold on, man. Okay. Do not replace us. You're too talkative. That's just how I feel. Like, the words that has value then, less and less it doesn't have value anymore, because it's being super exploited for whatever, because everyone has different opinion. And that's, I like what you said. If you have your own channel, do that. But if you don't have, is this something for a person, especially for men, because we're talking about men's mentality here? Is it something that, like us, especially women who couldn't understand as well, is there something in there that you could explain to me? Why do they do things like this? Why do they have to feel relevant in a channel and speak their opinion when it's totally not, or it's not even appropriate to say it? It's like, why do you think men do this? Because I know why women do it, but we men. And yes, please do.
First off, I want to make a love shout out to the manager, my manager, Tina Bim. Thanks for coming in.
Yes.
Thanks for the support. Thanks for allowing me to do this. Look, I think I don't know whether it makes a difference whether it's male or female that comes out and just unleashes garbage. I think it's just simply the character of the person themselves. I don't think this has got to do with one sex or the other. I think it all comes down to the individual. Because you have a look. There's so many good people in male and female, and there's bad people in female and male. When you say relevant, I think that both goes on both sides. They feel like they need to be validated in what they're saying, and that's probably the only way they can do it, because they just can't get it around from people that are around them in real life. So they've got to come and spew all this garbage out. And I think a lot of them only do it, to get reactions. That's a sad world, that a lot of people like that, that truly that they live in. They like to get the attention. Obviously, they've got a lot missing within their own life, and they're not content with their own life, and they're not at peace with their own life. So they feel like it's joy. It's like psychotic that they have to, people come on, whether it's male or female, and come on and spew out all this garbage onto other people, because that's the only way that that they can get any pleasure in life. And it's very sad. It's very sad. I think they probably need a little bit of help, some of these people, and that could be like a mental illness for them, that they're lacking so much in life that they feel they have to do that, to get reactions. Now, it's a lot easier if you come on, like, all the people in your chat, and they're friendly, they're respectful, they talk to each other. You get a lot more love that way, and that's, if you do that, you'll always have good people around you. But if you start spewing crap, you'll have no one, and you'll be alone. And that's why they do it. Try and get attention.
Oh, there's actually this from Joe, mostly women. Would you disagree with that? Because I feel like in my 3 years, I actually think it's mostly men.
I think there's probably more there's probably more marites with women. I think there's more marites with women than men. But I think I don't know. Maybe some men, maybe they just got a nastier streak that they don't care what they say, and they just say blah. They just let it all out over social media, because there's no consequences. And I think that's a big fault of social media. I think that's a big fault of YT, that they're not onto this. There's certain things, the guidelines that YT don't like, yet they let this type of behavior go on, and that's certainly not on. But I've only noticed I've probably noticed a couple of women that do that, Joe, really. But I've definitely noticed some guys too. But they're just, I think the women I've heard say this type of stuff, I don't think they're as malicious as what the men say on the channel. I think that's more marriages and just gossip type of stuff. And I don't know why they want to put say that on there, because they just make themselves look like a bunch of morons, to be completely honest. And the men, they just, I don't know why they do it, except for I don't know, maybe they're making up for, I don't know.
Yes. It always bothers me. And I need to probably give context when I say I think it's mostly men. And the context behind that is because with women, it's expected for us. We do that. It's expected, for us women. We know we love this drama, especially if you are from a country who has a culture of that. It's pretty much, you don't really see them unless they're really evil. And don't get me wrong, I know these people exist. But when I'm saying mostly men, is because when we are talking in the context of YouTube, it's really mind-boggling to me. And that's why, for the most part, my system is different. But this is all about you guys. You're men's mental health because I want to understand, And when you say things
Yeah.
like YouTube is already a mental asylum, and this is also from Putin, but infected by YouTube closes Maritasium. Oh my goodness, I love that. Puts on Boots. Another person that really, really also you should talk to Puts on Boots if you are mentally disturbed. And also, let's see. It's getting late here, so later, everybody. And Henry, I'll talk with you tomorrow morning. And the world is going to pot. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Ayan, really, really for the membership. I hope later you could actually, you know, see my member. Ayan, thank appreciation later on. And just got home, 32,008 steps. And oh, actually, Alo, can I do this? Can I do this? Because I really did this for everyone and for everyone. Yes, Alo, I know we have this same humor, but yes, you're gonna see this, every now and then if you are in ICEE Fit so that everyone can understand the context when I show this one. Okay, hold on, guys. I made this for everyone.
That's gold.
Yeah. So, guys, for all my ICEE Fit, I know some people can trigger you in the chat. Although, Ayan, you're the, how do you call that? My inspiration. But Alo, welcome to ICEE Fit. But not just for Alo, but if I notice trolls here and there, I would definitely show that to everyone so everyone can understand that you can actually practice not getting triggered, not to feed the trolls, because I want us to be better at this. We can actually filter out the irrelevance, because we're gonna have to provide something that we can actually have a healthy discussion like me and Mikey that we're doing right now.
I didn't, Joe. I didn't say
Anyway,
that.
what? Hold on. Yes, go on.
Go on. Did I see Die Fun? No.
No, no,
I
no.
don't know what that is.
There's no
I
troll.
don't know what that
There's no
is.
troll right now, but we know that
Oh, yeah,
Alo
yeah.
the Painter is a very, very good troll in the community, I would assume, but he likes to poke. So for
Yeah.
everyone, you can see that from time to time and make sure to understand that you yourself is an adult and basically present to ICFit what you want me to see in you guys. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So the
That's
next
that,
question.
that's all right. That's all right. I've seen Arlo before in your lives. He has a bit of a dig. He's a
Yes.
little bit
I like
humorous the way he goes
Aloe.
about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's all right.
I
He's all
like
right.
Aloe.
He's
I
all
like
right.
Aloe because he makes me laugh, and it's not for
Yeah.
everybody, of course. It's not for everyone. That's what I said. I love context. And before I even talk to Aloe, I already understand how he thinks, how he functions. And for me, I could adjust. But unfortunately, some people in the stream couldn't, especially if you're a newcomer to ICFit. So
Mm-hmm.
this is for me to everyone, okay? So I don't have to, you cannot blame anybody. Basically, if you get to be triggered in my stream, of course, me as well, I get triggered from time to time. And let's see. So, why do men do not speak out about mental health? Why do they shy away when people tell them you have a mental problem and you really have to check yourself out?
Yeah, I think sometimes maybe they just don't realize they do have it. They honestly believe they don't have it. They believe that they're okay. That's the only thing I can think of. Men's men's health and all that type of stuff. That's sort of off limits. Men never really talked about that type of stuff years ago. As I said once before, in this country, like even our big sports, like our Australian rules football and that, they always talk about mental health and men's health and all that type of stuff. So it's getting out there a little bit more, and they're trying to get men to go and see if they've got a problem or whatever. But like in the past, men would just, they would just suck it up type of thing and go, she'll be right, doesn't matter, it'll be okay type of thing. But sometimes, sometimes they can't work it out by themselves. So that's where I think, if you need to talk to someone, there's no bravery in not saying anything. If you want to go to a psychologist or someone, or even better, if you got a best friend that you can trust 100%, and they're there for you and you're there for them, and you can talk through things. I think sometimes I think that's actually a better way to go about it. But yeah, like mental health and that, I think that was back in the older days, I think that was a sign of weakness if men came out to say that they had any issues or something like that. So I think that's why it was never really spoken about. But I think it's an extremely big error if if you feel like there's something wrong, or there's more than a few people saying, "Are you okay? You okay?" Then I think then it's time to sort of talk about it and try and talk through the issues. But there's some that just don't want help. But as I said before, some people, it's like they're I don't know. Sometimes they're a little bit like psychotic. They're like split personalities. They'll try to be friendly at one stage, and then they'll slam you the next. And to them maybe that's just normal, and they think there's nothing wrong. So but if there's nothing. I don't think there's anything manly about just sucking it all up and putting upon yourself, because if you got family around you and all that, I mean, that doesn't just affect you, that spreads to the family and wider circle of friends, etc., like that. So I think in this day and age, everyone wants equal rights on everything. You got to look after yourself. Don't be too proud just because you're a male or female to try to get a little bit of help. As I said, this is your life. Everyone's life is their own. No one owns anyone's life. So the only person that can really look after you is you, and you've really got to sit down and think about it, all your thoughts and processes like that. And one of the great places to clear your mind, think about things, is going for a walk in nature, whereas just you, and you're listening to the wind through the trees and the birds chirping, just you around. That's a good place to go and just think about thoughts. Even if everything's going okay, in your life, do a couple of those walks and just think about life and things and how things are going. Sometimes there you get a little bit of clarity. Here we go. Hey, Paul, how you going, Squire?
There you go. And Port Blanca is in the house. Hola, hola, hola.
Hey,
thank you. And also, Joe is asking, hair dye fund for Mikey. Do you see that earlier?
Oh, hair dye. Oh, sorry. What hair dye? Look, it's still great. I just cut it. Look.
There you go.
On that trail, I know it's hard because there we go.
Is there any inside joke? Is there any inside joke about that, you two, that we don't know about? And also, let's see. And Alo says here, men don't seek help. They go trolling on YouTube. And another one, guys. Okay, this is for real na, guys. Ayan, let me give you my warning. So I already did the warning, guys. Yes, so please do be a better version of yourself right now, and now practice it. We are gonna practice, including moi. Go on.
I was going to say, Alo's got a little bit of a point there. He says, some of them, they go trolling on YT, and that is the only way they can get satisfaction, a little bit of joy for themselves, to try and get victory over getting reactions to people. And I think that's why a lot of non-good trolls do it. You can have some fun trolls, like you, go do a little bit of fun. I mean, you're pretty good. You know, you're pretty. Uh, I think sometimes you're still a little bit respectable in how you troll, but other trolls, they're just so malicious. That's what they do, and I think you're right there. Some of them, that's how they get their fantasy kick and their endorphins to go. Yes, yes, yes. I mean, that's sad.
With a girl, isn't it?
Very sad. Mm.
It's
Yeah,
like a very, very
some
girly
trolls.
thing. Yeah. Maybe they need more, how do you call that? What's the girl one? Even me as a woman, I forgot the hormones for us girls. Maybe they need more testosterone. Maybe get out
No,
of
no,
the internet
we're
stuff.
testosterone, aren't we?
Yeah, testosterone. And for women, it's
In,
what is it, guys? Please let me
endorphins.
know in the chat.
Is it
But
endorphins?
definitely,
No, that's
definitely,
okay. All right.
yes.
I
But
can't.
definitely, guys, please do protect yourself and do not feed the
Oh,
trolls.
no,
Okay,
dude.
if they're too malicious, if they're not your cup of tea, just ignore them. They are irrelevant. Okay. So Paul in Asia, estrogen, arigato, ayan, and Bruce is also here. Okay, okay, hola, 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 guys. And Brett is also here. Brett, hola, 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 fun trolls, and we can do that later on. But yes, that's one of the things
Mm.
that I feel like, one factor is that when men shows emotion, arigato, Brett, arigato, when they show emotion, it's very shamed or judged as you're such a lady, you're not a man. So when it's that kind of situation, or when it's being thrown to people that actually really need mental health, how for you as a person, knowing it's around you, do you do anything for yourself now that you also have the platform to kind of like reach out to these type of people, or this is not something that you want to explore in your own channel as well?
What
As a man,
reaching out to who?
reaching out to people that you think are reaching out to you in your stream, and basically, once in a while, I would assume you get people like this, but then in your mental state, can I say mental state,
Well, I,
how do you help them or guide them, especially the newer generation? Because you're
I don't know.
from, you should talk about your mental health, but there are other people that would say otherwise. So how do you approach this in your own way?
Well, I haven't actually got anyone come to me about this yet.
Aww.
But I would say, to those people, I would say, don't listen to other people. Do not listen to other people. Uh, there's no value in people that are not close to you. Really, your best friends or your loved ones or your family or something like that. If it's because it could be just wrong advice, the ones closest to you will often give you the best advice. I would, as I say, if you think there's an issue there, or your friends might, as I said, if they keep saying, "Are you okay? You okay?" Then it could be something to talk about with them and then discuss further, whatever. But I would say, do not be worried, because too many people worry about what other people think. Why? Why? I mean, it's not their life; it's your life. It's your life.
Mhm.
I'd say, do what you need to do for you. I think that is the biggest bit of advice. Do what you need to do for you to have yourself in the right position, in the right mind frame, the right way going forward. You know, because if you're not, you're going to go around in circles. You're never going to get to the end of the tunnel. You're always back in the dark. So,
Oh, there's actually
always,
one thing
always.
here as well. Hello? Am I cutting or you're cutting?
Hello.
Hello?
I don't
Okay,
know. I
am
thought it was
I?
you. It could have been me. I
Okay.
don't know. Hello.
Okay.
Hello. Yeah.
For a second, we kind of like got
True.
start.
True.
I got nervous. But there's one thing in here which is very ironic, and I love it. It says, I would say stop listening to the voice inside your head. But this is pretty true because, I mean, pun aside, it's kind of real, isn't it? Okay. So for the
That
next part, go on,
I was gonna I was,
continue.
I was, I was gonna say that's very true in what Timmy's saying. Very, very true.
Mhm.
Because everyone's got voices inside their head. It's how you respond to the voices inside your head. If you know the situation, your head's going, you know what, my God, it's just life can't get any worse. What am I going to do? Eh,
Mhm.
but if you can then, talk to yourself and say to yourself, don't listen to that. I know that's what it is right now, but you've got to think to yourself, we go through stages of life. Okay, we go through stages of life. Now you might be in a bad, spot here, but you got to think ahead. You got to think ahead and go, at this time everything's going to be okay, but it's this part that's bad. So you got to think ahead and go, I am going to get through this part. I'm going to come out okay. So you're spot on. You're spot on with thinking about, not listening to all the voices in your head, because sometimes that can be a downfall. So you just got to try and understand. Just got to try and understand. Yeah. There we go. Go back to you.
Back to me. It's really, really short. There's a lot of things that the chat is saying, and I'm listening, guys. So I want to explore that later on my stream in my. But I know we have so much little time, Mikey, and it's really, really such a privilege to actually, even just a little bit, kind of like pinpoint and actually just really
Mm-mm.
tell us what you think about this stuff. And for the most part, like right now, in the phase of your life journey on YouTube and in real life, and of course, exploring other people personally, meeting them personally, is there something that you can actually tell all the new YouTubers, new streamers out there, and of course the person that wanted to meet someone that they also talk to? Is there anything of an advice mentally that you can share with a lot of men? And also for women who are listening, what can you tell or give us any tip to how to handle these types of people that are kind of like mentally not there when we ourselves as a woman are streaming as well? Any advice for us?
My gosh, that's a lot. That's a lot. I don't. Geez, I don't know how to answer that one.
That's why I need to give you 2 hours. But
I
next
know. All
time.
right, we can stretch we can stretch the time a little bit. We can stretch the time a little bit.
No, 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 it's okay. That means I can have you next time again. Just a tease, guys. So if you want to know more, go in the pinned on the chat. It's pinned on top. Please connect with him. Okay, the floor is yours.
Look, I think that whoever comes in your chat, you just be respectful to them. You just treat them like everyone else, of course, unless it's the people we talked about before. Then you just put the boot up their ass and say see you later. But I think you just treat each person for who they are, for their character, etc., like that, and should be okay. And I think for one other point, if you've got people that want to meet you, I think I don't think you can. If someone says, "Oh, I saw you on your channel, can we meet?" I don't think you want to say yes straight away. I think you want to actually maybe get to know the person. If they're on YouTube a lot, you definitely want to go around and just check out how their character is with others, and see what that's like a little bit as well. Because I think you got to be, you still got to be careful, and that's all about everyone's got to protect themselves when they're on social media and type stuff like that. And I do agree. I wouldn't give out too much personal stuff on there. Maybe I give out a little bit, just with the I don't know, a bit where we go or whatever, that type of stuff. But that's not too bad. But you know throughout all my times on YouTube, I think I've met three, oh well, strictly two on a general meeting for meet and greet. And of course that's my best friend Tina, and of course, Chef Jack I met a few times. So, and of course, I did meet a couple of others, but they were just on the day meeting. Both of us, and we met some at the festival, so that was okay. But I don't, meeting other people. Yeah, look, I think it takes a little bit of time. Just make sure that they're 100% genuine. Why they want to meet. Sometimes if you're out in a public place and they're in the area and they want to, have a coffee with you or something, I don't see much problem with that. What was the other part of the question?
For us women, because it's so like even me, like this morning, I always these are like some of my community actually is pretty much doesn't like how I do it. Like I let trolls, I let anybody come in here, but I do have a line, of course, and sometimes they would tell me do not tolerate them. But for me, I want to know what's the mental thing in there, because I don't know. I just want to learn things. And there's another thing that I will never ever understand in a way. So for me, I need to feel it. I need to actually interact with these people for me to understand, And that's just me. That's just me.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand. But for me, if bad trolls come into your channel, personally, I think that damages your channel. I think that damages your reputation, and I think that damages the reputation that you don't look after the people that do come. That's why I got like zero tolerance to trolls. I just don't want them in there. And as I said, a lot of other bigger channels that I see, they've got absolutely zero tolerance of that as well. So and I think if I was allowed, those type of nasty trolls into into the chat, into the live, into the chat, and hammer other people, I think that prevents people from talking in chat. I think that prevents people from coming to your live. People, just acknowledging that they're there, and I think that can, as the troll has his own reputation too. Exactly. Well, you know what? If he can have his own reputation too, he can go and hang out with the other trolls, and they control each other's trolls. But I personally, I think it damages. I think it damages the channel if it's allowed. I think it needs to be swift kick up the bum and out, so everyone understands that in your channel you're in control, and you are looking after not just your own channel but the good people that are there for you as well. And again, this is not Arlo, because I think Arlo, I think he digs quite funny. He's got a good sense of, he's got like an Aussie sense of humor.
Yes,
just quite funny.
No, and also just to kind of like before I let you go, giving us a little bit of time, I do get that part. I am listening, so for people behind me who, likes to take care of me and protect me, I also deeply appreciate that a lot. But also as a person, I feel like I have so much love to give. And for my own sanity, I want to give it first. Now, if it's not reciprocated, it wasn't heard, then that's where the line is. And that's why later on the stream, you'll definitely understand more fully. If people doesn't understand how I work in my channel, I hope later you'll, slowly and surely, you're gonna understand the reasoning why. And this is what I do, not for the trolls, not for people who wants to ruin streams. This is for my own people that actually want to get better with me. Because as you've said, people that come here share the same feelings that I do. You matter to me more than these people. But for me to actually have a life journey channel where I can say that I've done this, not just because of hearsay, I did this for my own. That's what I want to share. Because I always had this mentality, and this is coming from the men around me. That's why when I say men's mental health, I do understand some part of it, but in a manly way, not in a pussy. I cannot filter. Didn't filter that one. But that's what I'm saying. So I want to understand why are they becoming like this, which is like a gross part of manlyhood. But there's something about the men's mental health that we are not talking about. And that's why I want to dig deep into that part. And the only part that I feel that I can understand it is when I experienced it, when I
Mm-hmm.
see it, when I know it. I know the context because for me, context is everything. If you're not going to tell me context, get the fuck out of here. It's irrelevant for me. Okay, so that's just how I deal with my
Mm.
channel because my house, my rules. But it doesn't mean that whatever you guys that care about me and my channel and to all the viewers that come here do not be kind of like shy away of the things that I do because it's just a part of how I'm going to present things for you. And you have to stay tuned for that later on. Yeah. You just only get the glimpse of it, guys.
Yes.
But
Just a
yes,
glimpse.
just a glimpse. So my question is, you've tackled as well the, how do we deal with this? But if we are women and we have like men, what are the telltale signs that we should watch out for, knowing that we doesn't have a men's mentality? If we are like our father or men that are around us, what can you actually share with us the telltale signs of a man is not really in a nice mental state or not in a good mental state? Is there any telltale sign for you?
Well, I suppose there's got to be, but what are they? Um, I've never really thought about that. That's a big question. That's a big question. Um, yeah, I'm not too sure. I think one of the things men do is they enclose themselves, so they shut down. They shut down to the world or shut down to people. I think that's one bit, or or lash out like on YT. But I think like in the real world, they probably a little bit more of a recluse. I would say like that, or just issues. Geez, I don't know. But I think you got to. I think you got to. I mean, for a woman, you if you got to think to yourself, if I know, this might sound strange, but for a woman, if the males talk to you like respectfully, sort of like your father, you know, then you would think they're okay. And of course, especially if you seen that happen a lot and they talk to other people respectfully, I think I think once people lash out or stuff like that, I think there's an issue there, or they just shut down, or they don't want to talk, or they don't want to communicate. I think there's issues there as well. But yeah, I think you've got to be, you know, 100%. No matter what it is, a male should always be respectful the way they talk to a woman. There's no question about that. I mean, male to male talk, and they can talk a little bit more roughly, because we're used to it and we don't mind so much. But I think no, I think that probably goes the same way. I think women should speak respectfully to a male, but they might speak a little bit different with each other. But I would think so. That's it. That's it. Some men down in the alcohol. They want to see the world burn, so they become antisocial. I've seen that. I've seen that. I've
Mm.
seen. Yeah, one friend become a little bit antisocial and didn't want to do much. Always go to bed late and get up in the afternoon. But and sometimes I'd get down there, and I'd try to get him up, and we'd go and have a bit of fun. We'd go and do some prawning and stuff like that, bring a little bit of life to him, and it was good. It was good when I was there, but um, it's not easy. But always, yeah, like always be respectful. It's when people chat, they should be chatting like in a normal conversation, in that direction. Like a normal conversation is when people are pretty much on the right track. I would say, unless they're split personalities who can switch pretty quick, but you can see that over time what that person's like. So I think for women, you'll always be on the I think one thing for women on social media, I don't think I would always talk in a way that you may be leading on, just leading on little hints or something like that, leading on, because then you might get stalkers, you might get, then they might come back and talk, talk to you like that. So I'd also be careful how you talk. Talk like ICEE does to all of us. She does it well. She does it well. Absolutely does.
Oh my god! I hope I don't lead everybody on. Okay, guys,
No, no,
I'm
you
trying
tell
to
her.
be careful about that.
No, no,
No, I'm
you're fine. You
joking.
tell her like it is. You do it well. You do it
Yeah.
well. You do it
Thank
well.
you.
You know,
I
but
I'm
yeah,
pretty
there we
sure a
go.
lot of people would disagree, but it's all up to us, guys. And I'll take that as a
Well,
very good compliment because it comes from one of my favorite people on this YouTube world. Timmy exposes my truth. Oh la la, what's happening in the chat now? So, anyways, this has been a wonderful, wonderful conversation. And I'm pretty sure that I would definitely would want you to come back, of course. But Faye Bisdak is here. Paul in Asia is here. Oh my God. Welcome, Faye, to IC Fit. I hope you find this very interesting. I, we will do that. But yes, of course, I know your time limit, but is there anything else that you want to
I can.
promote? And also, what are the next for
Uh,
you, Mikey?
I was gonna say I can stretch for another 10 or 15 minutes if my manager gives me the all clear.
Oh, okay. Yes. So there's a couple of people that in the chat that I kind of wanted to, read with you. This is from Puts on Boots. It's easy to deal with negative trolls. Just
Mm.
use the tools YouTube gave ya. Block. And move on to think about that sweet, juicy mango you'll be having after hosting the stream. And these are the people you would meet in IC Fit if only you welcome that positivity in their lives. And for whatever reason, I gave benefit of the doubt, but some people just don't listen. So it's like, what's wrong with these types of people? Okay. So we're going to go through with that as well. And also, this is from Sir G. And it's hard to understand or to know if we or I have a mental health issue due to personal understanding who I am or who we are. Unless, yes, if you check out to the doctor or if boyfriend tell us, boyfriend, ooh la la, this is men's mental health surgery. Who has a boyfriend? And also, most men are crazy. Most are stuck at the age of 13 to 16 age. Exactly, well, I'm trying to practice my toleration, which a lot of people doesn't understand. But I want to be nice. I want to be better.
Mm, mm, mm,
But
mm.
we will see. I and also and hold on.
Who wants to grow
This
up
is
though?
from
Who wants to?
also. I understand men's mental head comes into this is where they got no tea in the chat. The upper head always disagree to the lower head, I guess. But lower head is stronger. Merchant's point of view. Ooh la la. I like that, Timmy. Ooh la la. And well rounded is actually saying troll on troll fight. I would pay to see that. Would you, Mikey? Is this your cup of tea?
That'd be fun. That'd be fun to see them go at each other. Why not? Why not? Why not? Troll night. Troll night.
Yes.
Troll night.
Mars is Smokim's
Paradise Island.
mega love shout out. Yes. To all the newcomers, thank you for coming and supporting us. And this is from Paul in Asia. Hola to you, Paul. Thank you for coming to IC Fit. One telltale sign is frustration and short temper because many men are unable to express their feelings. And do you want to go deep into this? I like this. Polynesia, thank you.
And that comes down to Paul. That comes back to like the old times, where it was just not heard of, for men to show emotions or talk about their feelings or anything like that. If a male's to be seen to be crying, like, they'd be called a pussy, like weak. It's just not the case. I mean, men show their feelings. Maybe they don't in public, but they do behind closed doors. Don't worry about that. They do, and they all do. As I said, everyone's a human. Everyone's got feelings, but that's just one of those things, yeah, they'll. I suppose men were always taught to withhold their feelings around and just suck
Mhm.
it in, And I guess to some degree, I think that's important for everyone. Just to, as you say, take a deep breath, hold your emotions and whatever until you can just calm down, take a breath, and rethink about the situation, type of thing like that. And then, and as I said, that's when, if you got, a best friend or a partner or something like that, then you can go and just, um, you know, talk to them, tell them how you feel, and let it all out. But I think sometimes when emotions come out too strong, it's like someone goes a little bit crazy when they're out in public or whatever, because it's normally, drama or anger or something like that with their emotions. Generally, I mean, I don't see any issue with males having emotions or showing emotions. I don't think, what's wrong with that? I mean, seriously, what's wrong with that? If someone's got a problem with that, they're just insecure about themselves. It's as simple as that.
Oh my God, yes. And
Mm.
that's kind of like the telltale signs as well, isn't it? Is like when they're trying to act one thing, and then it's always like projecting. And this is something that I kind of like notice, and I hate to use a lot of internet language because I'm not a, I don't click on rage clicks. If it's
Mm.
irrelevant for me, if it's my cup of tea, even if it's toxic to other people, as we've said, we all have different preferences. If some people doesn't understand that, I'm particularly talking to one person. I hope Chef Jack is here. I'm gonna address that later on. We're gonna explore that one as well. But if you're watching, mega mega love shout out to you. So this is from Blizzard Abroad. Have to take constant stock of ourselves. I'm usually aware when I'm straying one way or the other. So for the last question for the evening for you, of course, Mike, I think my 15 minutes is coming up. So
That's okay.
when it comes,
It's all right.
yeah, when it comes to self awareness, do you think that is it something that needed guidance for a lot of guys, especially they are the type of people that doesn't really, as the guys in the chat as well are saying, it's not part of the culture to express your emotions, and might come from an olden, because right now everybody just express their opinion. So anything that you can explore in that for us,
Well, I
the
think I
self
think you've.
awareness for men.
I mean,
Yes.
self awareness is just one of those things. Like, everybody has to check themselves, be self aware. They've got to, they've always got to be in thought, and sometimes that's listening to the voices in your head. About today, it could be, about the way you acted, in a certain situation, or can you do things better? Can you stay calm? Um, Appreciated a man can talk straight to the point. I mean, that's good. I appreciate it when a woman can talk straight to the point too, because riddles, especially for a male, we prefer to hear it straight and not in riddles as well. But I think you've got to self check, and you got to, sometimes you just got to think on, where life's going, where life's been, what's happening around you. And as I said, one of the great places to do this is actually getting out for a walk, in a place where there's no one. And the best place I've found that is like walking in nature, amongst the trees and etc. like that. Sometimes when I'm out doing, the vlogs in nature, I walk, and when I'm not recording the video, I think, and I do that. I reflect and all that type of stuff, and what can I do to get things better, or to help what I'm not doing right, or something like that. But I think it's just progress, isn't it? That everyone, I think everyone checks themselves, and even mentally with the inside talks to themselves, or just thinks, what's this, what's that, just about on all areas of life. And are you doing enough for yourself? Are you doing enough for the others? You know, your family or etc. Like that type of thing. So yeah, it's just ongoing. I think you've got to be self-aware, and you've got to be self-aware. You know, and as I said, sometimes you know, some people they're just not self-aware. You know, and that's where I think it sounds really harsh if someone says it to you and they're not really close to you. But if someone's close to you that says that, then you can take that word, you know, have more value in you know in what they say, the ones close to you. But yeah, sometimes you got to check yourself. Sometimes it's good for other friends too. You know, you can always, you know, if you're bold enough, you can always say to your friends, you know what, how do you think I am? You know, have I been okay? You know, how's my character been, my attitude been? You know, you can ask them as well, and just to double check that you know everything's focused. Self-awareness is a process, certainly is, Yads. Absolutely, absolutely. You know, if you're not self-aware, you know, you're back in the past. You know, you're back
Well,
in the
there's
past.
a lot.
You know, and we
Oh my
don't
God,
live
that's
in
why
the
this
we,
conversation is really, really my cup of tea. Because it's like these are just really like everyone could relate in this. So for people who thinks the world revolves around them, please stay tuned later on. Okay, I'm gonna address him again, Ayan, and please do not forget the chat, the pinned in the chat, Ayan. This is my last charitable day for today, Ayan. That's a good token in heaven. I like that token. And from Fabi Stack, Ola, men's mental health have numerous factors. Stigma, traditional masculinity, and escapist behavior. It significantly affects in men's quality life. And also from Timmy, antisocial in real life, but social toxic in social media puts on puts. And of course, a baby stack again. Mental health isn't a joke. However, however, author seems to use this as a tool for an excuses of selfish behavior. I love this baby stack. Spot on. And from Paul in Asia, women embrace their emotions. Not everyone. I'm starting to embrace mine. Many men treat emotions like a pit of hot coals. They just run over them and move on. Ayan. I think I should do go back to that pollination because I think I pissed a lot of people right now. Yes, and this is another from Baby's Tack. While other cases, I'm sorry if I do. It needs to be shown. A man can be stubborn as hell and choose not getting help, same as woman's choice. If there's a will, there's a way. If you want, can find way. If you choose to be stubborn and stay. So what can you say about that?
look, that's there's no doubt about that. You know, men are stubborn. As I said before, Faye. You know, a lot of guys, a lot of fellas, you know, a lot of guys will say, you know, she'll be right. It'll be okay. Don't worry about it. It'll fix itself. It'll like disappear. It'll disappear. Everything will be all right until it's too late, and the problem really comes out, and then they have to. They got no choice to go and you know, get it looked at or you know get checked up, something like that. But yeah, stubborn. I can totally understand that. I can, you know, even I'm a little bit stubborn sometimes in that area. You know, I think I don't know. I think you grow up with that. If you know if you naturally just go and do certain things all through your life, no worries. That's a part of you know habit, lifestyle. Then you do. But for some people, they go, oh, yeah, next year I'll do that. Next year I'll do that, and they're a bit stubborn just to go and get it done. You know, it's like going to the dentist. You got a toothache. You know, you can start feeling
Mhm.
coming. You can start feeling the toothache coming. You know, and we're stubborn. You know, it's all right. It'll go away. The pain will go away. But oh my God, it gets worse and worse until tears coming down your eyes. You can't bear the pain of a toothache when you know how bad it gets, and then you finally go. So yeah, sometimes stubbornness is not always good, but I think it's definitely there. It's definitely there.
Mhm.
Worries about that, you know.
Aw, So this is the last one. I from Bruce Davis. Oh, this is from Timmy. Women are stubborn as well as we have two lips. That is, oh my god! Don't make them start to be naughty in there. It can't listen as it doesn't stop talking. But yes, definitely. We are all comes from different, and this is what I want. That's why I do. Tolerate the bullshit, the stupid shit, the idiocracy, to the stupidity, and to the dumb dumb. But I do have a line because I don't want to lose brain cells. I'm here
Mm.
to grow my brain cells. Okay, so if that's not it's not something that you can understand and process in your tiny little head, then I'm pretty sure you should probably click away because I'm not for you. Okay, we can have choices, as what Baby Stack says, men or women, we all have our mental health to actually be worried about. And it's just, choices and consequences. And someone will have a good or bad consequences. I don't know. We're going to see later on. But yes, so the floor is yours, Mikey. Please, do you
Uh,
have anything that you want to go into? Any
I,
comments in the
I,
comment chat?
did you have anything else? I said I can stretch it a little bit if you want, because everyone, no one's
Oh,
sleeping yet. No one's sleeping. I don't know how many chicks.
I
No,
can.
I've got- you
Yes.
know what, to all the ladies out there, how about you try this with your man? How about you just try and see how it works, mate? How about you take the time to sit down with him and ask him, how are you doing? How are you
Mm,
feeling? And be there for him and listen to him. And don't, when he says something, go, oh, but this or this or this. No, 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 no. Listen to him. Try that for a change, because we know um, women are more the emotional type. How about trying that with them and letting them know that it's okay, because you just never know, with the mental health, situation. You're the best one to check in, on your husband, your partner, or something like that. And it's probably something that, you know the guy's probably unfamiliar with, or not used to. So you could do that. You just never know where it would lead. Um, you know, they always say happy wife, happy life, but I'll guarantee you this: happy husband, happy wife, happy life.
oh,
That I'll guarantee. That I'll guarantee. Happy
now he
husband,
changed it,
happy
guys.
life.
Let's try that one. And Canadian Samurai is here. Oh, Canadian, you should stick on later on because I want to know your date. You never updated us with us. And this is from Jay Shore. Men's mental health. Interesting topic. Easy subject. Interesting discussion. And from Pinoy Galaan. Happy ending. What kind of happy ending are we talking about here, Sergi? And
There could be
not
many happy
every
endings.
is safe enough to kiss. Ayun. Ulala,
True.
maybe they have
I like.
herpes. See me. Okay, I'm so bad now. I need palo-palo for myself today. I am. But anyways, guys, this is something that I really wanted to talk about. And in Australia, because you are from Australia, guys, if some of you doesn't know,
Yes, yes, yes,
if
yes.
the accent
Melbourne.
didn't throw,
That's
because some
Melbourne.
people seems to be so idiot that they don't understand
That's okay. That's okay.
the
If you're not sure
accent.
where we're
Okay?
from, I'll let you know. That's Melbourne,
And
Melbourne, Australia.
Australia. Yeah. So for you, like in Australia, do you think that your government and certain organization are taking a good look on men's mental health, especially the depression, the suicide rates also are coming up, as we move on to this internet era where it's almost like it's just too chaotic as an outsider to see this happening. But for you in Australia, how much of it is, a help from the government or people, the awareness of it in
Look,
your
I,
own
I think
opinion?
I think awareness is really lifted through the sports. Through our major sports, etc., like that. I think they're always highlighting mental health awareness type of thing through our major sports, I think that gets coverage across, across the country. So I think that's there, and I think it's definitely a lot easier now for people because like the sports people, they're always saying about it, and you will get some of them people, the sports people, etc., like that. Just for example, they'll come out and say, yeah, they had these problems and this and that, and I think that helps a lot of other people and eases the stress of a lot of other people about being able to talk about. Look, I'm sure there's plenty of services here where you can go and where you can go and get. I think if you've got a reasonably big issue, you can probably just go to your local GP and they can refer you on to other sectors. I think we've got it reasonably good here in the healthcare department. Here, so I think you can get there's help there. There's help there if you want it anyway. I think, but even with all the help out there that you can get and you can receive and all that, it still comes down to, do you want the help? Do you want the help? As Faye said, you can be stubborn. You can be stubborn. People can be stubborn and go, no, it's okay. I'll deal with it myself. And on a lot of occasions, people, it's just too big. It's just too big to deal with on your own. And as Bruce said, he used to be that guy, and he learned to talk about the problem that comes up with plans and the tools you have to deal with these issues. I mean, that's it. You've got to be able to talk about it. That's where I said, if you've got a partner, whether it's your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, something like that, even if it's once a week, sit down with them, talk about the week that they had with each other, and you can say topics about, are you feeling stressed, or what's the problem? Are there any issues that's worrying you that, and you can talk about that together. And believe it or not, when you got actually someone to talk about it, and when, more importantly, you got someone that genuinely wants to listen to you, that can really help, so you can have a small situation not escalate to a big situation. You can have a small one and you can just wipe it out, and everything could be okay. So yeah, I think there'd be plenty of places here you can get help with that type of stuff. As I said, it was a big campaign. It was a big campaign sort of in our AFL. I think it still is, and over the past few years, with men's mental health, of course, and they do a lot of other stuff. And I forget the other one, the big freeze. What's that, Paul? I forget. They do that. Have a big day just designated for that as well. But it's a real thing that happens to people, and it's not, it's not nothing that you should be shy about or embarrassed about. Everybody has an issue with something, or a problem with something, or thoughts. So that's where it really helps. If someone's like that, and don't judge them. Don't judge them. Maybe, I don't know, be
So
kind to them, I
speaking of
suppose.
judging and shaming, this is something that I was actually into joining myself. Oh my god, another Aussie! Aussie in
Yes.
the
Oi,
house!
oi,
Wala,
oi.
wala. Aw, you make me smile now, Chris S. Because we actually did have a misunderstanding with Chris S, but it's all hush hush. So do not exploit that, okay? So it's good now. It's not hush hush. It's good now.
Oh, that's
I
good.
didn't
That's good.
blocked him. Yeah, he thought I blocked him or anything of that sort. It doesn't. It was one of those things. He's actually part of one of those things that are getting exploited in my channel. And that's the reason everyone doesn't have wrenches. So he's part of that. I didn't, but somebody did, unfortunately, Chris says. But now you're good to go.
Yeah,
Welcome
good.
back.
He's good.
We'd love to see you in my
I tell you
chat.
what, Chris S is a great guy, and he's so funny.
Mm,
Chris S
yes.
is actually one I'd love to sit down and have a coffee with.
Oh,
When you're ready, Chris, come on, bro. Come on. Come
yes,
on.
I actually thought we're gonna play because I think he's also a player, a gamer. I don't know if you play Battlefield 5. I'm actually one. Richard, Ayan, we're gonna play actually Battlefield 5 as well. So guys, if you do want to play with me, just let me know. If I like you, I'll play with you. If I don't like you, don't talk to Hello, Chris S. Chris S is a great guy. Yes, I like his
Yeah,
humor.
yeah, yeah.
And the thing is, these are all preferences, guys. Nobody is insisting on humor, and I won't insist my humor on you guys. If you don't get me, you don't get me. If you get me, oh my God, I love you even more. Ganun. Ayan. But it doesn't
Yeah.
mean shy away from being who you are because I want you to explore with me as well. I love that. And
Mm.
yes, so because Chris S get in here, now I got distracted, Chris S. Oh, because I don't like people that misunderstand me without asking me. So I find it very interesting when I do get misunderstandings in YouTube rather than create a whole drama about it or something that is unrelated to my channel. People that come to me directly and ask me directly. That's a manly thing to do, whether you're a man or a woman. I do appreciate that a lot. So good job, Chris says. That's one of the things that I do like about you. Ayan, sorry for the distraction.
What? No, no,
And
no.
sure?
See, that brings up a good point. You're not saying about distraction or what you were saying there. If you got a misunderstanding, what's more simple
Mhm.
than just talking about it, resolving and understanding? Because it's only that it's just miscommunication. It doesn't matter whether it's between you two or anyone else. That's the easiest way. Or if you don't resolve it and say, did you when you said that, did you mean that? Because I thought that, and the other person will go,
Mhm.
no, I actually didn't mean that. I meant this. Ah,
Mhm.
so instead of, as I said, this situation going kaboom, it is just
Yes.
it's like a flame. It's just gone out.
Especially if it's on the internet, right? Because on the internet, people will exploit that. And that's why I did have my thing, I think it's last week or 2 weeks ago, where I also addressed this part, is because people are exploiting the friends I do have. And believe me, guys, when I say friends, there's so many levels of friendship with me now. And I'm exploring them one by one, okay, in my own time. So for me, it's just something that, it's really nice to know who are your friends that are real and the one that are friends because they want to use you. It's a nice thing for me to explore. But at the end of the day, it's my decision because I'm my own woman. That's how I express myself. And this is from Jay Shore. There is no such thing as a happy wife, happy life that would depict an obvious imbalance in a marriage. Anything about that, Mikey?
That is exactly why I said happy husband equals a happy wife, which equals happy life. Make no mistake. Make no
Okay.
mistake, ladies. Make no mistake. It's not happy wife, happy life. It's happy husband, happy wife, happy life. If the husband's happy, he'll absolutely make the wife happy, and then life will be so happy.
Yes, but when you
Whatever.
throw those words, happy wife, happy life, happy husband, happy life, it just became so exploited again. So for me, the phrase is there. Explore it the way you want to explore it. Do you, boo boo, okay? And tell us all about it later. Ayan. And Jay, getting your wife is not easy. Saying it is just a garbage, trying doing it honestly, I guess you really get worked out. Okay, I got so confused now. Can you explain that to me, E.T.? I am so confused. What are we talking about? And some marriages are imbalanced. And of course, to Brett. Oh, Brett, I have something for you. Marriage is overrated. And that doesn't make sense in any of those. Happy wife or husband is equals to happy life. LOL. People are triggered now in the chat because you just said
Well,
the famous happy wife.
well, happy life at home.
Yes.
Timmy? What's it like when
Yes.
the wife's not happy or the
Oh,
husband's not happy? That's not very happy, is it?
oh,
But
also, guys, just to contextualize this is his opinion, guys. Okay, I'm
that's
pretty
just
sure
my
all of
opinion.
us has, yes, has our own opinion. And I'm gonna share mine again when I say happy wife, happy life. This is how I see it, and this is how I value the words. You know, when you make your woman happy, it's very simple. If you choose the right good woman for you, and this is very subjective, guys. Are you still
Mhm.
with me? Okay. If this is very subjective, but if you make your wife happy, and you made the right choice of marrying a good woman, it's the same, because there's bad women out there, believe me, I know, I'm a woman as well. But if you find that right woman for you, that person, that woman in particular, knows how to reciprocate that, and then it'll become a cycle. Because then, if your wife is happy, because it's very easy to make a woman happy if you choose the good woman, and that's the game. That's why you're the hunter and we're the, you know, you have to lure us, Anyways, but besides that, because I'm pretty sure there's people gonna triggered with that word. Do not get triggered. I'm explaining my happy wife, happy life is if you find the right good woman, it's very easy for a woman in love. You can buy her a candy, she'll be happy. You hug her every day, her happy. If you
That's it.
find a good woman, they know how to reciprocate that. And when you reciprocate that, the man would take care, and it's gonna be a full cycle of happy marriage. But don't get me wrong, marriages do work. You have to work no matter how many years have you been married. It takes a lot of work. Anything you want to add to that?
It does. It does take a lot of work. It doesn't just cook itself. Like a
Yeah.
cake, you gotta put a lot of work into it, or else, or should I say, a souffle. You got to put a lot of work into it, or else it's just going to deflate. The
Okay,
souffle.
now
I
I
mean,
want to
the
ask.
souffle. The souffle.
Yes, I want to ask this. Is this something that also men thinks about when they're getting married? Because in Japan it does. People, married people do think about tax benefits. Is it something in Australia or people like in the different parts of the world that are in the chat? Is it something that you guys think about going into marriage? Like
Tax?
another little factor. Is it something of a factor?
No, no.
Mm,
If you go into a marriage other than for just pure love, I mean, really, why why do it? Why do it?
mm,
Some do it for financial reasons and that type of stuff, but you got to have that. You got to have that bond or connection. You know,
mm.
you know, the right woman will want you for you, for love, not for money, not for what you got, but just for you. That is it. And she'll
Yes.
always love you.
Yeah, like Timmy says, we submit to you, we do our part, do your part as well. A
Uh,
cycle. Yeah.
Yeah, I read that last one because wife's happiness is being with her husband and them to work hand in hand as a team, as a partner. Exactly, exactly.
Yes.
That's why I always say, there might be, you know, the male might make some decisions on this thing, or the woman might make decisions on that. But in a household, I really don't think there should be a boss. You're not at work. You're not at work. As Jimmy said, you should work hand in hand, with your partner. I think if you get, the worst part about anything, especially if you're in a marriage or you're in a partnership, is being controlled. Now that's a big red flag. Get out, get out. If you value your life or got any respect for yourself or value yourself as a human, get out. If you're being controlled, whether it be just as girlfriend or boyfriend or a marriage, I'd say get out because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I don't care if you're married. Get out of it. Get out of it. How much do you value yourself? Forget about marriage, the church, all that stuff. I mean, to some people, I don't want to put some people off, but to some people, that's what they think. To me, that's just garbage. Your life is your life. You live once. You live once, and you've got to be
How
happy through
about
life.
this from
Yeah,
Mike, from Chris S?
uh,
Mike, you can't deny the tax benefits of marriage law. So I want to know, because it's a thing in Japan,
I want to.
it's a thing.
I want to know that too, Chris.
There's
I
no
must be missing
shaming, there's
out.
no judging.
I,
Hmm,
I was gonna say, I must be missing out on all these tax cuts or
yeah.
whatever it is. You'll have to tell me, inform me about them. What can I claim?
Yeah.
What
No,
can I
actually,
claim?
Chris S. Sometimes I don't know what is it, but I think like some Australians told me about this because I do have like people that I know from Australia, so they talk a lot about tax benefits and all of this stuff. So not to kind of like be a very jokey way, I think it's very important as well because nowadays everyone talks about money, 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 money. So it's just really nice to understand why is it, and not to be in a shaming culture kind of way to talk about tax benefits. Nothing about that. It's just more of like information, like good information coming from
Yeah,
adult people.
I'm not sure about that. I must admit, I'm not sure about. I'm not
Mm.
sure about that. But
So
you
we're
know what?
gonna
If
have
it
to ask
works,
reasons.
exactly. But if it works and it's convenient for both parties, why not? Why not? If that's what you want. But as I said, there's got to be there's got to be that connection. Still got to be that connection. I think no matter what. Hey, Ami.
Ami and Mark is here. The boom shakalaka. Thank you for coming here. Ayan. Finally, I get to see actually Ami's LS live stream. There's a lot of, like problems on the chat. Like it would show and then the live chat will be away, but she's still streaming. So I think it's pretty good now because I did replay earlier, Amy. So I'm pretty sure it's all good in there. So let's see, nothing wrong with that. Just enjoy being single. Exactly. Everyone has their own choices, preferences. It's all fine. Ayhan. Do
And
not let other people insist on whatever they think about you as a person, not just for Brett, but for all of us. Find yourself. Yes,
because you
go
know what?
on, Vicky.
I was going to say, you know what? There's nothing wrong with being single. I don't know why people say, "Oh, you single? You still single? Why? Why?" There's nothing wrong with being single. You know what? The one good thing about being single is you still your own person. That's the thing when you married or something like that, you have to. Well, you don't have to change who you are, but you have to just compromise in some things that you may do, that type of thing. But there's nothing wrong with single.
Mhm.
Man, definitely nothing wrong with being single at all. Just think, if you're single,
Mhm.
you can go where you want to go anytime you want. You want to jump on a plane and go and travel, you can do it. You don't have the responsibility of asking someone else or anything like that. Yeah, it's not too bad. There's
Hi.
there's 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 definitely good in both being single and with a partner.
Yes. I
What
actually
makes
was
you happy?
thinking, I saw Bleeze was like, see, we're off topic again. And then he says,
Oh, we
okay,
probably are.
I'm joking. Oh my God, Bleeze, stop watching trolls. Okay, stop knowing about trolls. They're not good for the brain. Okay, Ayan. And Bleeze, I just want to try to get ICEE live stream to turn to talking about Rise. But, the Japanese in her is stronger than her Filipina, it seems. Yes, diba? Puts and boots. I'm looking at you, I'm gonna call Miss Manny for flying sleepers na. Ayan. Sisi Koy, call Miss Manny. Ayan. But I really enjoyed single life while it lasted, Mike. No regrets. So for this,
Absolutely.
do you have a little bit more? Can we squeeze in a bit more? Just let me know if I cannot
Uh,
squeeze just a little bit.
Manager, can I ask my manager? Manager, is that okay? I can squeeze a little bit more. I think she's
Yeah.
still in the chat.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
I
So
think she said
this
okay.
is
Okay,
the yes. Okay, so this is the last one. This is the
that's
last
okay.
one. So earlier, we talk about the thing about mental health, like for men, right? And hold on,
Hmm.
single life. This is a process as well for me to actually understand the depths of it because I'm one of those people. I'm guilty about this. Like, why is single, blah 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 blah, and that's not the problem. I realize the problem is so many guys out there that choose to be single, but then they're so bitter, and I think that's where the trouble in my understanding that I couldn't get, the hypocrisy in the highest order, I would say. and the no accountability of the choices they made for yourself. Being single is a choice. Unfortunately, for some it isn't, but there's always a choice to better yourself so you can look attractive to other people. Because I always feel it in
Yeah.
my heart, no matter how ugly you are in the mainstream, there's always going to be something of any skill that you can give to yourself. And this is you owe this to yourself to find those skills so that the person that would come along would like you for that. So for you, when it comes to this mental state, how much of it do you think that should be blamed? Is it something for you? This is always an unpopular opinion of mine. Do you blame it on the mental weakness itself for a guy? They cannot really have the balls. Or is it something that a lot of people are saying it's because of social media? Where do you lie? Like in your own analysis for now. And guys, disclaimer, these are all opinion. You can have yours as well. Okay. Do not
Yeah, have
take things
yours.
too personal.
Have yours. It might approve by it. Look, I think I mean, some guys might be single, yeah, they maybe just don't do enough, or maybe they just don't look after themselves. Sometimes you've got to remember what a woman likes in a man. They definitely like someone who looks after themselves. Just because you're a man doesn't mean you don't look after yourself. You got to look after yourself. Take care of yourself. Even if that's making sure your nails are cut properly, stuff like that. Don't always have scruffy hair. The way sometimes it could be the way you dress. You just got to you got to put yourself in the other in the female shoes. What are they looking forward to? So it's a bit like you. I mean, when a male's looking for a woman, they go and look for a certain type or etc. like that. So it's a bit like that. I don't think you can put it down to mental health while they're single or whatever. I always think there's someone for someone out there. You just got to find and connect. And as I get back to it, the older we get, the older people get. You know what? It's not always about the looks. It's not always about how good looking are they. Where for a young person, it's wow, they're so hot. My God, they like that. But as you get older, it's communication. It's how you treat the lady. All that type of stuff. How you respect yourself, how you hold yourself, present yourself. And as Icy said, maybe if you are, uh, you know, too much overweight or something, go and better yourself a little bit and see where that leads. Not just will that better yourself for the chances, that may attract a different sort, a woman or more women, but it's probably more healthier for you. You'll feel good. Your confidence will be up. And I think sometimes men being single and can't maybe attract a woman, maybe they just haven't got the skills as well. Maybe they just don't know how to go about it. So that's always, I think, could be that always could be a factor. Not that just someone doesn't like them, but they don't actually have the skills, or they don't get out and about, or anything like that. So I think skills, how to talk to a woman properly, how to talk to a woman properly, respectfully, and when you go on to talk to a woman, don't just start off by saying, oh my God, you're so hot, you're sexy. Like what, how about just asking, how are you? How was your day? How was your week? What do you like? But I mean, it's like if just think to yourself, and I'm tipping there's a lot of males out there. If there was girls like that just said, come to them and said, geez, you're hot, you're sexy. Oh my God. I guarantee you most men would just back off. I guarantee you most men would back off and go, not quite right there. Yes, there you go.
Hmm. Oh my God. So, guys, these are the things because usually I do find it interesting when I talk to a person. And I usually give people, like, this is the thing that I find very therapeutic in a way because YouTube is actually humbled me in a way that there's a lot people out
Mm,
there that is not privileged enough to have what I have, like people around me. So for me to give back to the community and to the world, because that's just how I am as a person, I want to see the goodness of everyone. And even though people would
mm.
say something like "hello, sexy," like earlier, "oh, hello, what is that? Booty, booty, booty," something like that, I don't mind it, because for me, that person is probably doesn't know how to speak English, and probably all his life all he hears is booty, booty, booty. Who knows? Give him the benefit of the doubt and inform them, like teach them or guide them, because not
Yeah,
everyone is
true.
going to be smarter than you or me. And the people in the chat, we have different levels of how we understand the world, and it's up to us to actually guide people that we think are going in the wrong way, but
Mm.
also not to the point that we will insist what we believe, because at the end of the day, we do have our own lives to deal with. Okay, we have our own shit to basically
Yeah,
deal with. Okay,
exactly, exactly.
so
I
yes,
mean,
so
it depends if you know the person or not. If they say that,
yeah,
I mean, that's okay. You have that little bit of banter between you. That's fine. I'm just talking about, someone you see for the first time, and they're the
mhm.
first words that come out of their mouth. You know, you know,
Yeah, I usually
some
laugh at them, and it's like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
well, in person, you can feel the vibe. There's the
yeah,
vibe, there's the body language, there's the face, but usually on stream it's different. So it's a learning process for me, how to figure out these people. Because as we've said, men's mental health, there are a lot of crazies on the internet, if you don't know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean. So it's very hard to understand their words, but sometimes the words that come out of their mouth is because they have low IQ. They don't have that that come
Well,
out
yeah,
sometimes.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. No, I understand that. I understand that perfectly. Exactly right. Exactly right. But
Yeah.
as
I'm
you,
sorry. Am I so loud? Am I so loud, guys? Did I
I don't know.
did
You
I
sound okay
hear?
to me.
Okay, did I hurt your eardrum? Because I feel like whenever I
No, no,
clap.
no.
But let me know, guys, if I irritate your ears. Okay, so there are more comments.
That's,
Do you want to do the comments, or you're good to go? Because, it's up to
uh,
you. I already have an overtime. So,
that's
manager, manager.
that's okay. I think manager
Okay,
said it's okay. She's giving me the thumbs
okay.
up.
So there is this from Jay Shore. A marriage is an unnecessary evil because it is a tri-union of a man, woman, and government. This union tends to be greatly slanted, favoring the woman in the states. And this is from Bliss. There is something about being single for a man and able to just focus on yourself in a relationship, and it's constantly having someone else in the front of our mind or your mind. Ayan. And there's more in here. Self-centered person doesn't need relationship. They are too busy thinking about himself or herself to think about his or her partner. Ayan. Very, very true. Oh la la. And there you go.
Well,
So, anything.
I think the marriage is unnecessarily evil. I think that's if you're marrying someone from another country that you need to marry so they can come or you can go there. I think, but you're right. It is between the government as well, and I think, I think that's where the law's got to change. I think the government's got too much say. It's easy to get married, but it's so difficult to get divorced. And as I said before, I don't see the issue if it's just not working out between two people. I
Mhm.
don't see the issue why it's so difficult. You should be able to just go in, sign a bit of paper, like you do when you get married, and say a few words, and that's it. But no, it costs you so much money. The government makes money off it, so that's a problem. But I think in this day and age, there's people that don't worry about getting married, especially if they live in the same country or whatever. You can just be together. You know, and if you live in the
Mhm.
same country, you don't need to be married. But if you want to be with that person, overseas, then you've got to marry him so you can stay there, or they can stay here, type of thing. What was the other one? That's right. Blizzard said there was something about being single man and just able to focus on his. I mean, that's exactly right. I mean, when you, as well as that same, that a single male usually, has got things that he does to focus on. He's got his hobbies or etc. like that. So that takes up a lot of his time. Back when I was single, I used to be in the horse racing industry. So that took up so much time. But that was fun. But then I got married and had a daughter, and that was taking all my time away from her growing up. So I had to actually leave that so I could see a little bit of the daughter growing up, before it was too late, when she was about 3. And self-centered people. My gosh, I tell you what, who's that? Timmy said that.
Yes, Timmy. Here you go.
Yeah, self-centered people. You're right. They don't need a relationship, because everything is about me, 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 me. Look at me, look at me. I need this. You need to give me that. I should have this. I should have that. You're right.
I mean, in a sense, these people, I don't also shame those people. Like if it's me, 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 but at the end of the day, it's like, it's their choices. If their marriage failed, it's like, it's their self to blame. But unfortunately, that the reason we are so irritated by these people are because they're adults and they act like a kid, and they want us, the outsider, to treat them like an adult when they're it's like, my brain cells is starting to melt again. Ooh la la. But yes, go on.
Classified as adult, but I would have thought more along the lines of like the young adult, like really early 20s. That's where I probably would have gone to. I think if you're still like that at a later age, there's definitely an issue there, and you need to get that sorted out. That's when you definitely need to check yourself. And if you're like that when you're a mature age person, definitely. If you're going to be self-centered, you're going to live a lonely life when you get a little bit older. That is for sure.
Yes. And this is from Jay Sharp. Find an unselfish, giving woman, and half the battle is won. Do you agree with this one?
100%. You know what? And the male's got to be the same. And I think what I think. One of the most important characters is understanding. Having understanding, the male and the female, you've got to have understanding for the partner, and listen and understand. You've got to listen to their point, understand their point, understand where they're coming from, as well as understanding, both. So that's when ladies, that's when you can sit down and you can talk to your guy. How was your week? Are there any issues? Is there anything we need to discuss or talk about? And you must, allow each other to know that everything is on the table, and there's going to be no heated talk. It's going to be calm talk, and that can just make things ever so smoothly go in, in your relationship or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, something happened in the StreamYard. Hold on. What happened? Okay, there you go. I'm trying to figure this out because I don't like it when your face is being covered. And this is from follow up. This is actually a follow up from Timmy. And self-centered people don't take accountability for their action. They always find someone or somebody to blame. And they're actually asking you to sponsor. So you can come here and use his Wi-Fi, Tina. Because we want to talk to Tina, but it always, and I always appreciate it when she comes here, even though, the internet is bad. And to all the people that actually do it for me as well, your internet is bad, but you have time to come up here, come say hi. No, guys, that I do see that, and I do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. And two says this one, I am always caring about other feelings and I would like a female friend. Oh, not a lesbian now, Paul, who would share her caring and loving nature with me so we can happily share each other's lives without sexual tension. Ooh, very specific. I like that, Paul. You know yourself. I can see that definitely. Good job.
Mm-mm.
And let's see what else do they have for us. Eto, they're talking about a lot of internet. They really want Tina. You know, one day I'm gonna have to
I
sit one
know.
with Tina, but she's a busy lady and she has the internet problem connection. But one day I'm pretty sure she'll gonna get it all, you know, and we're gonna have to sit with her.
I'll
Toxic
definitely vouch.
people just Yes, toxic people just enjoy blaming others for their actions and problems. And digital, I love the mix mash. Yes, guys, please do congratulate. I want to take this time a little bit and please congratulate ET Travel Freely, my Abebeko number 22, and also one of our very OG in ICEE Fit, still then from now, my friend, I am on YouTube, Digital Fanboy. They're both monetized. So congratulations to both of you and welcome to the hassle world.
Well
Hassle,
done.
hassle.
Clap, clap.
Yes,
Diddly-diddy.
yes, yes. Ayan. Thank you, guys. Ayan.
Bravo,
And
bravo.
let's see what else. From Bruce Davis, to me, my father always said that if you do anything wrong, always be honest and take accountability. Exactly. You know, be a man. That's why I was taught, you know, be a man. And I would say, like, I'm a woman. No, be a man. You know, take accountability. Ayan. No more watch hour. Top dancing, Aya. No, everyone still need watch hour. So please do check out each other, guys. Please do give me a favor. Type the word MINE if you are a YouTuber streamer. And if for my members, Ayan, you know your code, please do that. If you don't, ask admin. Admin is in the background just checking everything. Is it's under control. Okay, and finally, oh my God, Maria. Actually, Maria is one of those people that really trying to figure out how to do the chat because she's in the Philippines right now. So thank you for that. For all the members, super chat after this. I'm gonna give it to you guys, Ayan. But right now it's Mike, everyday part of life that I want to focus on, and I just want to share him to everyone, Ayan. So please
I was going to say you can do that if you want. I don't mind.
don't mind. So, guys, for everyone who doesn't have any permission, ayan, please do close your eyes, everyone. Do not watch this. Do not ever watch this. But for people who have the ayan, permission. This is for Joe. Ayan, let's see. For well-rounded Joe, ayan, his birthday today. And of course, to the world is going to pot. Thank you. For my member for 22 months, ayan, for board vlogger. Well-rounded again. Maria Rosario, welcome to IC Fit family. And to Blizzard, appreciate the stream. Thank you so much. And this is for everyone. Arigato gozaimashita. Ay, hola. Thank you guys for being such a wonderful, awesome people. I hope they can actually see how much awesomeness you bring to ICFit. And yeah, my addressing will come later. You know, it's just gonna be me and you guys. But yes,
That's all right.
my
I didn't mind.
everyday part of life. The floor is your red carpet here and there, the camera here and there,
Oh,
everywhere.
ah,
Please let me know what's going on with Mikey. I'm pretty sure you want to talk to a lot of people on the chat as well. Please, if you have
oh,
time. I don't want you getting scolded because you're too loud over there and you're
no,
not
no,
going to be allowed.
it's okay. No one's sleeping here at the moment, so it's okay. I'm fine.
That's
Yeah, I'm
nice.
fine.
That's
Still working.
good,
Still
good, good, good.
okay.
I'm still working. Lucky you, Ayan. And booty overdose. Booty overdose. Oh, diba? And that's just for the camera, guys. What about if it's in person? Oh, diba? Charot. Charot. Okay, charot. That's charot. Charot, charot. Ayan. But let's see. Anything that you find interesting in the chat? They're goodbying
Oh,
not to every one of us. But is there anything you want to like address that we actually explored that I might be distracted a little bit? There are
uh,
things that I want to, yeah, I stored something. I don't know where the store goes, but yes, thanks to everyone who supported it, Ayan, to all the support friends. God bless, Ayan, from ET Travel Freely. And
that's
hello, Tita Maria, and good weekend. I hope you're having a wonderful vacation. I do miss Philippines. So in the Philippines, you know, I'm pretty sure
mm,
we talk about like I want to know like how men do interact with other men out there, especially if they doesn't come from your upbringing or like your culture. How's that mental side of it? Is there anything that is something different that is not being talked out in public when it comes to talking to other men in the mental health state? Is it something that is too hard to share or anything new that you could think that is something new for me as a woman?
was that question for me?
Yes, for you. You're
Oh,
still here.
oh,
You said you can still
oh,
stay. So that's a question.
I, look, I was going to say I found it easy to talk to other guys over there. No worries, you know.
Oh,
I think you know even like the bloke we got the uh, I forget what it is. It was a little bit like a chocolate shake thing from that bloke on this. I can't remember. Tino, remember what that is. You know, he was happy, like the bloke with the horse. You know, some of the guys out talked all right, but about mental health, yeah, I don't know whether I don't know what it's like over there. I would, you know, I would think that over there, unless you know someone in the chat can say, I would think they're pretty well closed in. I don't know whether it'd be really talked about over there. You know, I think for it to be, you know, out in the open over there, like most other countries, I think it's got to come from, you know, maybe icons or something, or celebrities, something like that, to be put on TV and says, you know, it's okay, and then that's sort of got to get the word out. I think if none of that really comes, doesn't get addressed or highlighted or something like that, I think it's just still kept under lock and key. You know, I would think in a lot of countries like that, and I would definitely think in some countries it'd be just a definite no-no. But I think for at least for here, it's highlighted and it's accepted now that it's okay to to talk about it. I think that's and I think going back to this again, I think sometimes in the Philippines people worry too much about what other people think. Worry about focus on you, focus on your life. Don't worry about what other people think. It's nothing to do with them. It doesn't matter. Marriages, it'll be there for a day. Who cares? Focus on yourself. That's all I say. Focus on yourself. Don't let, as I said, don't let other people's words who have no value to you phase you at all, or anything like that. But yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know. Someone over in Thailand, is Bruce over in Philippines, or Tino might be able to say.
yes,
Is
yes.
it talked about over there, or seen on TV, or seen? celebrities talking about it there or anything like that. Um, I'm not 100% sure because we never watched TV. I didn't watch TV at all when I was so.
My
Uh,
TV is YouTube, unfortunately.
yeah, too busy
It's
doing
all
other
been
things.
YouTube.
I
Yes,
actually did
and
watch it.
also
Mm,
another thing with men's mental health that I find interesting nowadays is that, I grew up, as I've said earlier, and this is the one reason that I'm sharing you my key, guys. I'm sharing you as if you're mine. I'm
yeah,
sharing
yeah.
you my key.
Shanna.
Yes, it's because like this is something that I find lacking nowadays is that men aren't men anymore. It, look, this is coming from a woman, and I know it's gonna be hard to swallow. Believe me, a lot of men do this as well, but I always
Hmm.
say comes from a good place. I just really feel that sometimes they want to replace as women. It's like, no, do not be a man. Do not replace us in a way where they talk too much but no value. Like, don't get me wrong, guys. There are people who really talk. That's why we have streamers. That's why we have, Penguinzo is one. If you know Penguinzo, I'm super like I'm
No,
on to him. Abba and Preach do talk. Comedians talk. They talk a lot. But at the same time, George Carlin, if you know George Carlin talks so much, but probably not in their real life, but who knows. But that's something that
yeah,
they
yeah,
only
quite
show
possibly.
from time to time. So for me to judge each other and shame each other is very, very like childish, especially if it's happening on the internet. Because this is something that, yeah, we women do that. We find faults, little things here and there, and it's pretty much it's what we do basically. It just depends on how matured a woman or how do they say it, but some people doesn't, and it's all around skills. So for a man and for a woman to call them out for not being man enough or having a balls, how can we actually express that in a nice way so that I can reach their mental side of things? Especially I do love to be a streamer and I do love to kind of like interact with these people because I feel like these people needs attention, but to where an extent of attention where I should give, or people like me or women like me should give, so that it wouldn't end up into leading on when it comes to mental process, like men's mental health, because it's always been like they're leading us on, this woman, blah, 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 blah. What is behind that?
I think it's just a thing from, I don't know. I think it's just men being men and women being women. I think that's just the way it's always been, isn't it? It's like saying, a woman can dress the way they want, but if she wears a mini skirt that's half up her butt and revealing everything in a like well, let's just say a skanky type of way, they're always going to get looked at and whistled and that type of thing. But if they're they can dress provocatively, but a little bit classy, and that's all right. My God, I forgot what the question was. I forgot what the question was.
No, like oh, hold on, where's my camera?
That's okay. Oh
How
my
would
God.
you how would you basically kind of like for us women, because at the end of the day, if you are into like, let's just say in a context of streaming, I do
Mhm.
get, some people say they are sims. I see them like, oh, it's so cute, so adorable, I like them,
I don't even know what a sim is,
yeah, well,
apart from what you
sim
put
are
in the phone.
basically it's gonna be, we don't want to trigger some guys
I
in
don't know
the
what it
chat,
is.
in that word. But for me, I know there's a mental state in there, and there's a process why they become insults and then turn into red pill and all of this stuff, right? There's a process there. But in my thought process, we always talk about the extremes. We always talk about if the Sims didn't get what they want, because Sims is basically they're giving attention to the woman they want to have sexual something with, and they become so delusional that they give everything to the point that the woman won't reciprocate it, and it turns to become bitter, and then they become like insults, and then they become a killer, psychopath, stalker, and all of that.
Oh well, that's
Ayan.
surely
See?
that surely surely that surely that is just lack of confidence.
Positive
Isn't it?
vibes, Mr. Machine. Hola, hola.
Uh,
Ayan.
sure.
So for me, so let's just kind of like explore this a little bit. For me, we always go for the extreme of the extreme. We forgot there are the norms. There are
Mm,
average people. There are sane ones. They just behind. They're so happy to deal with the craziness like us. We go into stream, show our faces, put our opinions out there. They're not like that. They're the normal ones. So for me, rather than shame this behavior, how can a woman actually kind of like, in a mental state, or how can we actually get to an understanding of helping these people? Because this is men's mental health, all in all. Because if they can progress into that, supposedly to the extreme, there's some line in there that needed mental attention, you know? There's something in there that got broken to the point that they turned and choose to be this way. So for me, rather than shame them and judge them, how about understanding where are they coming from? Why do they think like that? So before they become simp, they can actually understand that being like this, these are the telltale signs the women aren't into you. So if you want to give your hard-earned money, don't expect them to reciprocate it the way you want it to be. So how can you tackle the delulu? This is always a question. How do you say to a delulu person that they're delulu when they're delulu? It's a hard question. And I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychotherapy. We're
mm.
all normal people here. But I always find knowledge comes from stories, comes from experiences, and we are talking at the end of the day are people. We don't know. Everyone is different. When it comes to our mind, our behavior, no matter the mastery of it, everyone would act differently. Just my opinion. So now for you, how does a man process all these things? I know I put it all in there. You're probably like lost in
I
your
tell you what,
thought, but just say
now I've
anything.
got mental issues. Trying to
I can
process
go
that.
deep. I know. I go deep.
Look,
I go deep.
as you said, maybe these people something did break along the way, and they behave like that. Because they got pretty well spanked, and that's what may have broke them. And maybe this is the way they act to try and have full control over the situation. Well, yeah, not that type of not
What
that
kind
type
of?
of
Oh, okay,
spanking,
sorry,
not that
sorry.
type
I
of
behave.
different type of
I
spanking.
behave.
That's later. But God,
So do you want to read some of these things? Ayan, some of these things. So a little bit like you know. So this is from Tini.
well, the
The
growing up
growing up.
environment and household factor has contributed a lot for them to become like that. And us strangers, most in social media, cannot do a thing about. I mean, that's it. Yeah, your upbringing has definitely got to have a lot to do with it. You know, most kids they mirror their parents, how they behave, how they act. It could be to the jobs they do. All their characters about their parents will come out through the child, how they see. As I said, if your father's respectful to your mother's respectful for your father, and they get along, then you understand that a good life can be like that. And even from an early age, I think you see a reason that you don't need to try and dominate someone else or your partner or anything like that. So yeah, definitely growing up, and I think if you're not listened to when you're growing up, that can make you maybe a loner in later life, and that could probably come to some certain situations, like people going on and and bashing other people, thinking that that's okay because that's how it was in my household, so it must be normal. So yeah, a lot of stuff
Yes.
to do with growing up. But if you're taught from an early age in the household, to be respectful, to be humble, be a leader within yourself and not a follower, then good things will come. But being humble as a person, I think, is very important. You can be and trying to be confident, as a person who you are. Confidence is, I tell you what, as I will say, confidence is just about everything in life. If you're confident in who you are, you can do anything. You can do anything if you're got that inner
Yeah,
confidence.
but unfortunately, like some people does have like self-esteem issues, and
Oh,
one thing
of
I would
course, of
always
course.
tell them, yes, I would always tell them, fitness will do you a lot of good. Stick with it for 3 months, just 3 months. Give me three
Mm,
months of your life, and I bet you will like it. And Bruce is one of them. Good job for his wife for doing that for him, and he's going into that. So be consistent, Bruce, or I'm gonna palo you, Bruce. I'm gonna ask Judith to palo you. Ayan. I'm not allowed anymore to palo you. And also, these are from Puts on Boots. Weren't most of us as Sims? Exactly, before until we learned the cruelty game of the female humans, or are most of us just lucky to have magically dodged bullets without being taken advantage of? I've always said this, I don't know if it's just, I'm not being heard or anything, but we're definitely gonna explore one of these days about Sims when we're all ready for it. Ayan. We're not
that
gonna explore that one for
that
now.
yeah, that though puts that could come down to you, that you are very self-aware of what's going on. You're not
Yes.
you're obviously not one who just goes, okay, let's just anything.
Yes.
You got a certain standard that that you want, that you like, that you set for yourself.
Yes.
Pride in yourself. So that's why you probably dodged the bullets, because you're
Yeah.
thinking good, you're thinking straight, thinking well.
And Chauncey, welcome Chauncey Adams in
Okay.
the house. I see the men you are talking about are probably had a lack of male role models growing up that could be a reason why they act more feminine. So this is something that I usually dig deep because I've seen a lot of whining, like I'm not going to date a single mother or blah 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 blah. And for me it sounds funny to me because men whine about we don't have, I come from a single mother household, that's why blah 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 excuses. Then it doesn't have to be like date someone who has single mother, it has nothing to do with that, that is irrelevant. But if you see the bigger picture that the problem is the guys or the newer generation doesn't have a good role model, then why thrive to be a good role model and do your job to guide this younger generation? If you don't want single mothers guiding them through adulthood, why not step up? It doesn't have to like you fuck their mother or whatever. It's just a decency to be part of any community for me. I'm too passionate with that one. So I don't know. That's kind of like my analogy in the whole thing. It's like
I mean,
there's a lot of hypocrisy in the highest order when we talk about these things.
what's wrong with dating a single mother? I mean,
There's a
what? Because
huge,
she's got
yes,
a
there's a
child.
huge thing.
It might be different if she's a single mother with 5 kids, like 4 different fathers. Then
Yes,
I'd be go, no. But if it's like a
yes.
single mother with 1 or 2 kids, same father, just didn't work out. What I mean, you know, um, you're
And
worrying
guys,
about what other
apologies if I
what.
couldn't like paste all of your comments in there. Sometimes we get so deep into a conversation, and sometimes I get distracted. Okay, but know that I'm reading all of it. I do replay stuff, and I do really want to know everybody how they think. So just to make sure that it's not being ignored or anything. It's just I don't read it on live, but be sure enough I am seeing it. I am listening to everybody. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Okay, continue now. Mikey, I'm sorry to cut you off like
Oh,
that.
that's all right. No,
Mm.
single. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with single. That's again where you're worrying about what other people think. If you date a single a single mother, that's still the same woman, whether she's single with no kids or she's got one or two kids. So you know if it's with the, if it's the
Yes.
connection and everything, give it a shot. If you're that caring type of person that's willing to look after, or be a family with a mother with a child, nothing wrong with that.
And also, like another factor that I just want to put out there that I gathered through talking about this stuff with different streams and my streams alike, and to people that I actually interact with, is like another factor is the emotional investment in there. Because when you take care of a child, at the end of the day, this is their thought process. When they divorced, when they separated, they have nothing to say because it's not their biological child. For me, that's where accountability comes to place. When you expected someone to, just because you invest emotions, they need to reciprocate that or not. It's just a matter of you. This is how I see. That's why when I see stepfathers out there, it's like, hats up, because that's a very tough job to do. Don't get me wrong, because that's not even your kids, but you will take care. I am a product also of a stepfather, and look at me now. So for me, it's up to these men to handle it, and if you really put a good love attention to the kid, they will grow, they'll be an adult, and they will remember that. And all of that is not nothing, because you'll get it. It just takes time, obviously. But the thing that you said, do not think about of other people. You doing this out of the goodness of your heart. And if you're one of those people that keep whining about, like, well, this and then that's not for you, but to shame these people, shame who are dating these people. That's where my problem lies. Because shut up. Most of these people didn't even have a good relationship, by the way. And I'm not talking about some of you guys that have,
Oh,
okay? Do not take things
yeah.
too personal. There are just some.
No, that's right.
Just saying. I'm just saying, if it's not for you, it's not for you. Move the fuck on. Okay? Do not express what you think about your life and insist it on somebody else. You don't know them. Okay? So that's my part of it. Be smart, people. Be smart on who you think. Be smart of the information you consume on the internet. Even for me and for Mike, all of these are ideas only. All of these are perspective of different people that have been there, done that, have that knowledge. Read or understand what they're saying, and not what. Just be smart. How much more can I
Smart.
say? Be smart.
I know. Yeah.
Okay, they're
That,
so busy in the chat. Anything that
I,
you want to
I
tackle
know I couldn't
on?
keep up. I couldn't keep up. You know what? And
Yeah.
that being said, what you're saying, just because you don't agree with how someone else lives their life, that's not your life. Yeah, that's not your right. To say that this is how someone else may want to live their life, and it doesn't hurt anyone. It's doing something good. So take a look at your own life before you start and go, crashing others and saying things like that. Make
I
sure you got
wonder
your own
if
house
they
in
have more.
order, and that comes down to the character of the person. Why would you even say it if you got nothing to say? Shut the fuck up. You know.
Exactly. I love to see
Yes.
that a lot.
I thought no, I won't say that, but I thought, oh, that's okay. ICEE says it.
Yeah, it's okay. After 10 minutes, guys, this is the thing. as much as I can, I don't want to, filter people or police people of what they say. But we do have guidelines, and if you really care about me, about the channel, about what this channel is bringing, and the people around you, there are moments and stuff that we can curse. But if it's something cursing to belittle someone, to be malicious, to throw it out without knowing, especially, like there are certain things, like if you're from America, the word cunt is bad. Just, Americans, if you're Americans, am I wrong? Am I wrong? This is one of the words that you don't throw with women, or it's going to be a fight.
Even
They
in
know
Australia,
that.
we don't use that.
But yes, in Australia, they don't do that. It's a normal word. You throw that here, there, everywhere. But to have like something that you're so ignorant to understand the differences and you're going to throw it. It's like that's stupidity for me. That's idiocracy. You're not even ignorant, you're just malicious. And I don't like it. And as an outsider, as a foreigner, I try to know these words because I am, like, for example, with an Australian, I don't know what's wrong or what the bad word in Australia, but if I know it, if I say it, I want to know because I am talking to you. I'm not coming from a bad place. And then people would say something, but I didn't say anything wrong, blah, blah, blah. Oh, shut the fuck up. Okay? Grow the fuck up. That's all I'm
Exactly.
saying.
Exactly.
Anyways, guys.
I agree.
Yes, I want to do grilling, Mikey. I don't know what to say, everyday part of life, Mikey. But this is kind of like at the end of the stream where I just want everybody. And I notice Mikey really wants to also interact with everyone on the chat. So we're just going to interact with you guys for a bit. I'm going to shut up my mouth as well so that I'm not, no, I'm not going to ask deeper questions. I'm going to save it for a later date because I want him to come back in one on one. I
That's
want him
okay.
to
You know
come
what?
back.
I was, I was concentrating on what you were saying. So I tried before to look at the chat and read it, and that's where I
Yeah.
lost the questions before.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that's the thing. And, I'm going to have future guests as well. I know that I probably brief you a little bit, but sometimes, when it comes to guesting, I would brief my guest on do not pay attention to the chat because I want you to be the best version of yourself when we talk about this. Because I ask you to be a guest because I really, really want to know you and I want to share you to my viewers because there is something there and I want them to see it. But if you are distracted with people in the chat, then sometimes even me, when I go to the chat and I got distracted, it's like, okay, where's my thought process is? And that's the segment of IC Fit, guys, just to kind of like, explain it everyone. Is if you're a new viewer, I do have segments. This is not just a normal streaming. There's segments. There's one-on-one where my attention is on my guest and you guys as a viewer is to interact with each other and find stuff that I want to share with every one of you with my guests because everyone has a story to tell. I always say that. And then we have open panel. Open panel, I'm not going to babysit anybody. It's an open fucking panel. If you're an adult, be an adult. If you got, whatever it is, handle yourselves. I'm going to not babysit someone. I'm here to stream and have fun. And on my normal stream, it's just usually me and you in the viewers. That's the time I pay attention to the chat until I become too passionate. But I do try to back read. So everybody that's the part I take responsibility to every single one of you guys. Okay. So thank you for all the support. I just want to clarify that one. So Blizzard says, ooh, sharing. I raised my stepchildren as my own. I would my own love and discipline. Still have great relationships to this day, all grown up. Yeah. Another, please, guys, if you didn't watch it, please do replay that. it's a good conversation with him as well.
Fantastic. That's it.
And this is for Graham, for Australians. It's not about the words. It is about the context of the words. That's just what I say.
That's it. I mean, what Graham said. I think with the C word, Graham, we can say that. Two guys can say that. Hey, I think two guys can say that. But I think the one
Yeah,
thing,
for example.
normally we
Yeah.
don't say like if it's two guys out and about, it can be it can be said, as a, just something normal, just
Like,
normal
bitch, come here.
talk. Yeah, yeah. Hey,
It's
what
like
you
with
doing?
girls.
Like
Compare each other, like, hey, bitch, come here. It's just an endearment.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we
But no,
wouldn't go
no.
up to a girl
I
and say,
think
"You're
to
a," you know.
better clarify this
So
is that
it's
the N word, you know, there are certain
uh,
words, if you know where it come from, how it was formed. That's why there are words that are just totally not for you, depending on the race, depending on, it's just there are words like that. It is what it is. But that is the
yeah,
reason we have to be matured enough to learn things, to learn the history of it. If someone tells you that is wrong, and if you have the like an animosity to the person, you don't want to listen to them even if they're saying right, then do your own research. Internet is in the palm of our hands. What the fuck is
yeah,
wrong with you?
yeah. I don't.
Not you guys, but I mean everyone, including me. Okay.
Sometimes I still find it hard to understand. If it's okay for someone to say something to someone, no offense, everything's all right, but someone else says something to the other person, exactly the same word, and they go, "You're racist," yeah, and up in arms. I still can't work that out. If it's such a bad word, why say it all, even between two people? I don't know. That always confused me. I don't know about anyone in the chat, but yeah, maybe that was it.
Yes.
I
But
don't know.
yes, that's why sometimes I would do explore words, certain words. I
Yeah,
would explore certain words if I know that I already am sure, kind of sure, because I'm not never going to be 100% sure because I'm
yeah,
not a
yeah,
master of anything. These are just articles that I gather and just sharing to you guys so you can also teach me on what you think it is, and we can have a good, healthy adult conversation.
mhm.
But some people just doesn't get the MO. And it's up for us in ICEE Fit, if you're here, to filter the irrelevant. Okay, guys, I want all of us to practice, especially if you're in ICEE Fit. I let you practice that. Sometimes you'll be off a little bit with words, and sometimes some people would react. I pay attention to that and ask why. Why do you think that is one? So for the words, there are context, of course, that there are words that you just don't use because there's history behind it. And unfortunately, it is what it is.
Yeah,
It might not be your problem. It might you do it, but it's history. You can't erase history. That's why some people exploit your past because it's history. It's part of it. So it's just that common sense of thinking,
mhm. That
Yes, Ayan. Yes,
that's it.
that's it. That's it.
You just got to check yourself and think first
Mhm.
before you speak and say, "Do we think this is okay?" Sometimes it just depends. You can read the room on how you can sort of speak, and you know if you can go with the
And
flow. But
also, guys,
you
if
just
I
got
say
to.
something offensive as well, please let me know. Please do let me know. And also explain the context. Because if you're just going to be like, no, 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 you cannot say that, and you're not even telling me what the fuck is the problem is, then shut up. Okay? No context. No, 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 no. Okay? Give me context. Okay? I'm not stupid. And Jay Shar says, ladies, if your husband, or it becomes so calm because it's Jay Shar. Now I'm
Yeah.
calmed down. Ayan. If your husband or man is not your hero and you do not have the utmost admiration and respect for him, then you will struggle greatly to meld or become one with him. Be honest with yourself, girl. I like that. I do say that in my own words, but spot on. I say that as well. For a woman's perspective, I am with you, Jay Shore. I, I'm not gonna say that, Mystery Machine.
You,
You're baiting me. I
I mean,
won't. I will never.
you
I
hear
won't.
that you hear that all the time. They say it to each other. That's
Yeah.
one of them. Probably
But
you're
that's
saying.
them, yeah.
I know, but when someone else, I know. It's still hard to understand.
Well, there's
If it's
context.
yeah, but if it's outlawed, it should be just outlawed to everyone. Then it's easy. Then people can't get confused. You know,
But I think that's the beauty of life, don't you think? Because then if everything
yeah,
is just
maybe.
all the same, then it'll be boring. Because then there's
Yeah.
nothing new things to learn. Then you'll be just stuck in one thing. There's
Mm,
nothing to explore and stuff like that. And I think you'll just have to see the beauty even in the toxic or whatever it is, because there's beauty in life, period. And
there is.
pain
Just
is
just love.
also, if
Mm,
yes, if you don't know pain, if you don't felt heartbroken at some point, how do you know if it's love? How do you know if it's something happiness if you don't feel the other counter? That's how I see the world. If you become so lonely, when you become so happy, you'll be more appreciative because you know how to
that's
be
it.
lonely.
If you haven't been
Right?
heartbroken, you haven't lived.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. And that's why I feel sorry for some people who never really explore that part of being with someone, because then you're limiting yourself to a point. I mean, it's up to you also. Do you boo boo? If you want to leave, just you're by yourself, do that. But be prepared to be alone in your deathbed and do not blame anybody but yourself when that time happens. Okay. Hey, I see checking in, and of course, another man in the house, 53 Shades
Hey,
Darker in the Philippines. Ayan, another streamer, YouTuber living right now in the Philippines, also married to a
nice,
Filipina.
nice,
Newlywed.
nice.
Ayan, newlywed
Wow.
this year.
And all,
Yeah.
congratulations. Lucky
And you
man.
Arthur Nude is also here. Okay, let's see this one. Ayan. And we are enabling people to not be responsible for their actions by taking care of others. Let's be honest. We need to stop enabling people. But that's the beauty of enable. Sometimes on internet, we only think of one side you know Sometimes we're so swayed with the toxicity, and don't get me wrong, toxic environments, they're very, very intoxicating. Some people love to live in that shithole. So for me, we all have our own people, and some people would only fit people when it fits their own narrative. It is what it is. Now I'm coming from this, Mikey. Why do people come here? Because we had this incident earlier. Why do people come to ICEE when they don't like me? What's the mental side of that? Because most of them are men, I would say. Women don't. If they don't like me, they would lurk in the background or be friends. I don't care. Two faces. Who gives a shit? As long as you're nice to me, I'll be nice. But with
Mm.
my 3 years on stream, my problem has always been with the guys who would poke at me and tell me they don't like me, but why are the fuck they are here? What's the mental side in that? Explain
I
to
don't know what
me.
it is. For a start, that's just crazy that they poke you, that they would poke you and say they don't like you. I don't know why anyone would dislike you. I mean, you're one of the great characters on YouTube. You're right. You give people a lot of time. You're kind to people, and sometimes you probably give them too much time. I don't know
Oh
why anyone would.
yeah.
I don't know why anyone would dislike you. They've got serious issues if they do. You know, and
Mhm.
as for coming back to your streams, maybe they're afraid that their name might get mentioned and they might miss it if they're not there. And if they hear their name, then they can sprout it everywhere. Oh, is this and oh, is that? But yeah, I don't know. You
No.
know, for me, if I didn't like someone or I didn't like a channel, anything like that, I wouldn't go. You know, I can't understand why people go to channels that they really don't like or people they don't like. I've got no idea why they do that. That's
I know, because it
uh,
is something, isn't it? It's something that I just noticed because
you know,
we are all, I've said this many, many times. If you're a YouTuber, if you're a streamer, you've been a viewer first before anything else.
yeah, yeah.
It's probably the most people on the YouTube. Okay. So you know the feeling of a viewer. And as a viewer before, if I don't like you, why would I keep watching?
You know, I
I
don't know. What? Yeah,
Am I
I
the
don't know.
same, or am I the insane one here? I don't understand.
I
Please
don't
let
know.
me understand.
There's so many others to go and watch that are, you know, definitely more interesting and more likable. If you don't like someone, go to someone else. You know,
Uh,
uh, but that's just issues, you know, within that person themselves. You know, the issue is not really with you or whatever. That's issues within that person. And there's, you know, there's definitely something out of balance there. There just has to be. There has to be. There's no question. There's got to be.
and it's
Um,
like it's almost
you
like
know, like
I don't want to go into the details. Faye Bistak actually says this earlier. Some people used and exploit mental problems when they are
mm,
in this type of things. And I don't want to kind of like, it's almost like it's not a good judgment for me because I'm not a professional. And it's also like very, I feel
mm,
sorry for the real ones who are actually in it. The real ones, clinically diagnosed people that has mental
yeah.
issues, either their brain doesn't work properly. I don't want them to feel sorry because I would assume at some point they don't even know. But for these people, the audacity sometimes to even tell it, maybe they're mentally insane. It's like, I don't even want to go there because now I'm giving an excuse for them. No, 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 not on my stream. You know, if you can talk to me, if you can say words out of your mouth and create drama in my stream, you're not mentally insane. Okay. It's just a type of character. You're just a bad person in general. There's nothing in there. You're broken, you know, because I don't like to use the word lost cause. I also changed my mind that I should probably not stick to lost cause because as long as we are leaving, there's no lost cause. So now I'm just gonna use the word broken. These are
Mm,
broken people. And I'm not gonna be your babysitter to tell you if I'm gonna give you benefit of the doubt. And can I do this right now? Because I'm running out of time as well for this stream. I was supposed to do this, like individually, but it's up to you, Mikey, if you want to continue
ah,
this.
you go.
Okay. So, okay. Because I don't want you to be exploited. No, we're gonna do this. We're gonna finish this
Exploit me.
conversation.
Exploit me.
Oh my
God,
goodness, I'm
exploit
getting
me.
I like that. Don't say that word. I get so excited. But I just don't want anybody
Mm,
to be bashed in my
mm,
behalf. And you've said this earlier as well. They lurk maybe because they feel like I would say their name. And that's one of this. It's like, why would you even think that? If you actually look into my channel, if I'm talking on a specific person and I want to call you out, I don't shy away. I'm going
mm.
to say your name. And I've done that many, many times in my stream. Now, if you don't get that, go watch, okay? Or learn, lurk, read, before you throw things, make sure you have the context to present to me because I have a line with idiocracy, okay? If you're too much of an idiot, no, 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 no. I don't feel charitable all the fucking time. I'm gonna warn you, if you don't listen, then I'll do something about it because for the most part, I value every single one in the stream, to Nida Cambodia, ayan, to people in my stream. I owe it to them to make sure that the stream is going to be something that they would feel safe, because I built that. Now, I'm pretty sure down the lane, I couldn't control everyone, but that's why we have moderators. And by the time I get there, I'm pretty sure I know what to do. So, for you guys who try to poke and poke and poke, good fucking luck, okay?
Don't poke the
I have a
bear.
line. I have a line, guys. So, continue. I'm gonna do this separately because I don't want anybody to bash you because your face in the camera. I'm gonna do it manually.
But
I know.
I don't take much notice. I don't take much notice if people do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've only had one, but everyone's had that one. I don't take much notice.
Yes.
Issues. So that's.
But
I'm just going to go back.
yes. Come on.
I'm just going to go back to that point to Jay Shah when he was talking about that word. You don't know it because absolutely no way to understand the pain struggle unless you are in their skin, literally. And that's where it's good to try to understand. That's what I was saying before. When you don't understand why it's okay for some and not others, and that's where it's a good, calm adult conversation where you can, explain, if you know the reasons, you can explain, and then we can better get understanding, and situations like that, that's where good adult conversations come in, and as I said before, it's like in a partnership. You got to have understanding to understand,
Yes.
So that's good. And you're right. I got no idea. But yeah, understanding would be always good to understand. There we go.
Oh, Tifa. I like that. See, that's a good one, Jay Shore. Definitely a good one. So this is gonna be like a history, like there's gonna be a certain period of time that we'll definitely gonna talk about all of the things that you just thrown, because it became like as what Rain says, there is a bunch of topic coming from tonight's stream. Some of these topics involved mental health and some are reflection of society, which is our mental health as well. What we see in our society affect our mental health. It is what it is. So it's going to be a very broad topic. This is just one of many. I have so many one-on-ones that relates to mental health. And this is why me and Yadsi actually kind of like in a way bond on our channel, because it's like she's also advocating mental health, and I like what she is saying. It's something that we should really explore. And there are certain Teamy as well. I love her mind as well. We explore a lot of this back in the day, Teamy. If you're still there, that's why I kind of vibe with him. So there are certain stories, but I would totally, wrap this up, Ayan, and will tell you. So please, guys, I'm gonna be doing one more stream before I go. But Mikey, thank you for this wonderful time. I actually did overtime with you. Yeah, I don't know if I should apologize or anything, but
it's always a pleasure to do overtime with ICEE. Ice, baby.
I know, right? Okay, I have this for you. Actually, I did this only for you. I don't know if it's gonna play. Let's see if it's gonna play. Because it's loading. I can hear my PC loading. Like, there you go. Okay, one more.
What?
Yeah. Yes, guys. So see, now I'm pretty sure every one of you understand why Mikey, everyday part of life, as I've said earlier, is one of those people that I really love how his brain works. If you see it, good for you. If you don't see it, too bad. Learn more. But anyways, the floor is yours, Mikey. Ayan, all the camera is in you now. Take your time. Tell everything you want to say. And please come back. Please come back. Guys on the chat, if you want to let him come back the next time, please make sure to subscribe to him and also watch the videos, and also do not forget to let him know in the live chat right now. So the floor is yours,
More,
Mikey.
more,
Give it
more
away.
importantly, make sure you ask my manager first. She does all the bookings. Odiba.
Oh,
You're welcome, admin.
I
You're
do that.
welcome. I don't know what to say. Thanks, everyone. I hope this, I don't know, maybe brought light to a few things to someone in the chat, even a little bit or nothing, but it was a good discussion, I think, through everyone. Appreciate it. A good discussion for everyone. Adult conversation. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful?
Mhm.
Uh, so, yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get to everyone's, comments in the chat because I was focused on ICEE. And then when I focused on the chat, I lost the question. You know what I mean. You understand. Sentinel, my God. But thanks, everyone. It was great. Don't forget, check out the channel. I've got a vlog coming in this Thursday night, 8:30 Melbourne time, 6:30. Is it? Tino, 8:30? 6:30. 6:30 Philippines time, 8:30 Melbourne time. Just visiting a country town here. Stretching men out to now every 2 weeks instead of every week because I'm getting a little bit lazy now of making vlogs. So I still got a few in the bank. But yeah, look, great topic. I think it's a very, very important topic. And don't forget, whether it's male or female, your partner, maybe just sit down with them, once a week. Just say, darling, whether it's, your husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, just say, darling, how about we just sit down and do something we don't normally do and have that chat with them? Find out how they're going, how they're feeling, how their week was. Is there anything that's causing them concern to chat about? And, and if they say, it's okay, love, I'll handle it. You got to say, no. Let's just do this and work this out and see whether I can help you or anything like that. Just hear them out and then, just like that. So just reassuring with each other that, you got each other's back and all that type of stuff. And I think that's very important, and that's where little issues won't blow up. And of course, make sure you talk through things. If little nagging things come up, then you can have understanding, listen to the other person, and have both points of view. But I don't know. I'm rambling. My gosh, I'm rambling. I'm sorry, everybody. But thanks, everyone. You can check out the channel. If you like the channel, you can watch it. If not, that's okay. That's okay. Whatever you like to do is fine by me. I'm just here enjoying, having a little bit of fun, making vlogs for people, enjoying getting out and about. And of course, what an honor being on ICEE Fit Show tonight. I can't believe it.
I know.
A
Actually,
privilege.
before I started this, I was very, every time I do one-on-one guest, I do still get nervous. So basically, it's something that, I want everyone to have a good experience. That's
Mm.
just for me, but I also expect it's not going to be for everyone. So if there are words thrown here and there, as I always say, do not take things too personal. If it's not for you, it's not for you. If it's for you, I'm gonna totally say the name. And with that being said, thank you guys. Give it a round of applause to Mikey, as known as everyday part of life. Please come back. Open panel. We have wine or wine. If you're up for it, just let me know. But also, I have to go back to your stream and make sure I have all this dolled up stuff. I want to talk to you more and be your hostess. On your poker game. I think that's pretty
Oh,
much in the context. And I have to ask a manager to book me in one of those things. But
yes.
thank
Yeah.
you, Mikey. And
My
guys,
man,
don't forget.
my manager will send you the bill, so don't worry about that. You know?
So, guys, please help me out with my bills with everyday part of life. Ayan. But anyways, thank you so much. I'm gonna be right back. Ayan, we're gonna talk about what happened, and I'm gonna talk all of the context once and for all again. Ayan, so that people, because I do give a lot of charity sometimes, and this is one of those days. So yeah, make sure to stay tuned in. I'll see you guys in a little bit, and bye everyone. Ciao,
Ciao,
ciao.
ciao. Ciao for now.
Yeah. Yes, ciao for now. Later, I'm gonna see you in the chat. Ayan. Ciao, ciao.
Very soon.
Bye bye. Ayan. So, guys, everyone, I'm going to see you in a little bit more, but right now we're going to end this one. Come back for more. If you're not subscribed yet, please do subscribe. It's in the chat. Ayan, it's pinned on the chat. Please do make sure to subscribe. Subscribe to Everyday Part of Life, and I'll see you in a little bit. Yes, ciao, ciao. Mata ne, mata ne, mata ne, mata ato de. Ayan, for now, for now. Ciao. Ayan, ay, hindi pa pala guys.